Today, I'm going to be actually using the whiteboard and seeing how that goes. Hopefully you guys can read it and engage. I want to kind of outline some things I do to raise private money. But every week, guys, the whole point of this Zoom, and way back like last spring when I talked to Pace about starting this, we're like, let's have students bring their problems wherever they're stuck, bring them to this Zoom, and we're going to help solve them. And the best part, the way we solve them best is when I call these sellers or whoever it is you're working with, we'll call them live, okay? So I always encourage, I got like 4 or 5 people already bringing some stuff, so that's great. So we're gonna work all those deals live, okay? So the second thing is though, if you're brand new and you don't even know where to start, or you don't have a seller to talk to, or you don't even have a problem yet, like let me know, because we have lists that I'm actually gonna let you guys call my leads and start getting reps. Because it's all about just having conversations. So if you're interested in that, there's a form there. And actually, I've had a couple people from Problems to Profits who've joined my No One Left Behind team. So if you guys want to join one of my No One Left Behind teams and you didn't get in, or for whatever reason, and want to get some reps, man, we're doing really good with that. Mike's one of the leaders on my No One Left Behind team. And actually, we're going to be calling some of those leads today. They're going to be good examples, okay? And then the last one is, we're going to talk about private money today. If you guys are just like, you know what, I want to go raise money for you, Casey, which I'll talk about, or you're like, I got some capital, I want to invest with you on a deal first, Casey, before I go do my own, right? That's sometimes one of the best ways to get experience is to partner. So if that's you guys, there's all those links over here to get started. So anyway, cool. Let me make sure. Quick question, Adam, Casey, what is the best way for me to connect our seller? Do you get a phone number and forward it to you, or should I just get you on the phone? Yeah. Okay, great question, Adam. So Adam, typically, we have the forms, right? The best way is to go fill out the forms, right? If you go back in the chat, if you scroll up to the chat, the one I just posted for a future deal live, fill out that form and that information all goes in there. But for today, if you guys didn't fill out that form, it's okay. You could just give me their number live on the call. Typically, we just pop it in the chat when I'm ready. And the beauty about this community, guys, if anybody's apprehensive about sharing it, like nobody's going to snake your deal. This is all to teach. And so you don't really have to worry about that. Okay? Thanks. What's up? Oh, now the kids are home. Cool. You just give me that? Okay, thank you. All right. You want to say hello to the community? Colt, this is my 10-year-old who just got out of school. All right, this is Colt. And all right, I'll tell you maybe maybe this will be divisive if I'm a bad parent or not. So if you guys watch my social media, I'm really passionate about like sports and youth. I love coaching my kids. I played college football, and this is my 11-year-old. He's in 5th grade. They're doing really well. So he has their like semifinal. And in Texas, as you guys know, football's a big deal, even in like 5th grade. So he's got his semifinal tomorrow, and like all this like sickness is going through the school. Everybody's been sick, and he's not sick yet. Right? You feeling good still?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm like, you know what? Let's pull him out of school today because there's all these sick kids running around. I'm like, we can't be sick tomorrow for the semifinal. So now he's home. So what are you going to go do now that you got a little time from home?
I'm going to go play Madden.
Madden?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go cold call. Why don't you go make some cold calls? If you guys haven't seen, he's pretty famous on Instagram. He did a cold call. If you guys go to my Instagram, one day he's done it a couple days for me, but one day he did some cold calls. I recorded them, and this lady just yelled at him. It was awesome. And it has 8.6 million views on Instagram. It's incredible, crazy. None of my stuff has ever come close to that. He's obviously, I need to be capturing him way more than me. But anyway, that was not planned, but you guys get to know a little bit more about me and what makes me tick. So, all right, back to it. So you guys, we talked about the forms. Hold on, let me get caught up back into the chat. How do you save this link to save this link? I suck at technology. You're right, Patricia. Patricia, I would go, if you need those links, just copy and paste them right now as they're going. Okay, you know what? I made this simpler for people just like you, Patricia. If you guys just remember this, or you're listening to this recording in a month from now, a week from now, 3 years from now, because guys, I know I've gone back in the vault and listened to these videos. That's really how I got to where I'm at, is investing time in sub 2, listening to these calls and applying it. Right? But if you're listening to this later, or you can't remember this, an easy website is very simple. Problems, to profits.com. Really easy. Problems to profits.com. If you guys go there on that website, you're going to see all the links to all the forms. You're also going to see a link to my passive investing playbook. So I've been sharing resources every week with you guys. This was good feedback from last week. I wanted to put all the resources in one place. So if you go to problems to profits.com, there's a link right in the top and it says Passive Investing Playbook. If you click on that, That's going to give you access to all of the resources, right? I showed like all my underwriting templates, my LOIs. We've talked about the Revive method and how I calculate it. All those, I want to put them in one place for you. So go check that out. And if you're on there, you can poke around the website. You can see one of my goals is to help 100 families achieve their financial freedom. So we actually do we're going to be start doing 2-day workshops in 2025. So anyway, all that stuff's on the website there if you want to go check it out. All right?
Hey, JP, real quick.
Yes.
If you're on the chat and you see the chat, all you have to do is click on the blue link, and that link will open up in your browser so that then you can bookmark.
There you go. Even faster. Always count on my man, John, to help us out with technology. Today it was actually somewhat, I got the technology going twice. I've got a recording one going. I got the microphone. You guys don't get the high quality microphone. I'm doing that for the recording version. But anyway, we'll share plenty of these with you guys. All right. Thanks for all the love with Colt. It's actually Colt, K-O-L-T, but probably sounds like Colt. All right. Don't let him cough on you. Get after it. I like it. Okay. All right. Let me make sure I didn't see any questions yet. All right. So we'll reshare those links. Clint's going to share those links one more time. But again, if you just simply go to problemstheprofits.com, it'll get you right where you need to go. All right. So today we kind of went over the rules. Let's talk about, guys, I want to share just even more victories we've had here in Sub 2 or within Problems to Profit. So you guys saw the deal that we got under contract in Vancouver. We're actually working on getting the contractor started. This one, unfortunately, is going to have a little hair on it. We're going to potentially have to evict we're not going to have to evict him, but the guy that was selling the house is now being difficult. So we're going to, my team is now today troubleshooting how we're going to get this guy out of the house. But anyway, we're all aligned in the deal because the faster he gets out, the faster we're going to flip it. So we should be fine. But I'm excited about that one because, guys, that's going to be a really profitable deal. Doing it with a Sub 2 student who brought that deal to Problems to Profits. That'll be another resource you guys can get on my passive investing playbook where I break down exactly all the steps. We've been doing it for the last 5 weeks. Really cool deal. So if you guys want to get more detail on that, I've tried to record every call with that seller in the process. And I want to update you guys every week. So the update this week is we're working on getting the owner, the former seller out. It's a divorce, and it's as you guys can imagine, it's kind of messy. But we'll take care of that, take care of business. And we've already started to get a scope on the property. So we're going to be getting going. And my private money lender, I think I shared that with you guys. The private money lender came in from this Zoom, which is really cool. It was Andy and Marcia. They were on the Zoom a couple weeks ago, saw the deal. I literally got on a call with them that night and kind of walked them through the deal, went a little bit deeper. Another cool thing is they're actually, I don't know if you guys know this, they're actually deaf. And the cool thing about our Zooms and Loom and all these different technologies is it all has closed captioning. And everything we do as a team, we pretty much transcribe all our calls. So it's really cool for them to get them up to speed and use closed captioning. And I thought it was a really cool, it's just cool technology these days. That wasn't available back when we were growing up, right? But now everything you can transcribe. So it's really cool. So got the private money lender on it. They've already funded. So we're going to be going forward. So that's the first really exciting one. The second one is, not sure if Mike Simich is on today, but me and Mike put together a deal. We're actually just getting it signed today. We've already got verbal. It's a Revive method. We're down in Loxahatchee, Florida. It's outside of Fort Lauderdale. So we're doing that deal together. We've actually, the contractor, Mike's going to help out, be the contractor on it. It's a really cool JV agreement where we're going to go fix and flip that house. And then the third one, guys, is another Revive method. So Mike is working on it. And Mike got it going, and I've came in to kind of finish closing it. So I want to share a video with you guys to kind of show, because I recorded that call. So anyway, this was last Sunday. I was actually meeting with our contracting teams. We were doing we brought everybody down to Houston. We went and watched the Texans game, went and had some fun, and we did a strategy breakout. And while in the middle of the strategy breakout, I had to jump in and do this call with the seller. And it was really cool because I did it live and I recorded it so you guys can watch it. But my team was there. So it was really cool for our contractors to see this as we went through it. And they got to see me work directly with the seller on a Revive method, which ultimately a lot of times they're the guys that are doing the work. So they really liked it. But what you guys will like and was really, I think it's worth sharing is as I'm going through it, I'm talking through the Revive method. We get to the end and the lady, you could tell the lady's getting a little bit emotional, the seller. And because she, I think, just really wants to be, she doesn't want to have to deal with the house. She definitely doesn't want to have to fix it up. And I think there might have been some loved ones that had been in the house that had passed away. And it's just a really emotional deal for her. So as I'm kind of walking her through and we're summarizing and we're like, okay, here's the next couple steps to get this done. Well, anyway, she kind of starts to tear up. She's like, Casey, I'm so thankful that I finally have a solution to this, that finally we're going to be able to sell this house and I'm not going to have to stress about it. Cause I could already tell like all the sleepless nights she was telling me about having. So the reason I'm bringing this up, guys, is like, if you're ever like struggling with wholesaling or struggling with, oh man, I'm buying this house at a big discount and am I not taking care of my seller, right? Or I don't know, there's always that dilemma, right? We're in a business and our business helps other people make money. I employ people. So that's what always I kind of keep in mind. But this whole Revive method, guys, it's really wanting me to lean in, because as I lean in and realize more about it, it's truly helping people that are in a situation where they don't have the money to flip the house, right? And it's perfect when people have a lot of equity, because you can get in there, flip the house, but because the way we structure it, these, and this is the same thing that happened in Vancouver. This is why Corey, who brought that deal, Corey genuinely didn't feel good about just going and giving them some lowball offer because they were about to get foreclosed on. But what we offered them is, you know what? We're going to pay you more for the house than you would get right now in a cash lowball offer. We're going to actually go flip it and pay you more on the back end. So anyway, it's been really cool, like seeing actually how we're helping people and seeing like anytime somebody gets emotional like that. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys, because these are deals that are actually people are bringing every week on Problems to Profit. So anyway, wanted to share those examples because they're working, and I want you guys, I just want to encourage everybody, like, go start having conversations, talk to agents, talk to sellers, do whatever you got to do to be making deals happen. And if you get one where you're stuck, bring it here and we'll help you close it. Because ultimately, we want to help you guys achieve like your financial freedom or whatever your goal is. And then you're helping other people. So anyway, went a little bit long on that, but I think it was worth sharing. Okay, let's go in here. Okay, questions. Okay, ooh, is this all right, Larry Parsons, it looks like he's got a deal. Larry, I'll come back to you, okay? But that's another one. All right, who wants to learn a little bit more about private money? Anybody else? Anybody in the audience still need help raising private money? Or how do you actually do it? And let me ask you this, all right, Scott does. Who was on here last week? Does anybody want to put something in the chat that they learned last week? So last week, we talked about private money, like structure and underwriting and the security, like how do I actually secure people on our deals, right? Did anybody have a good takeaway? I'm going to share mine in a second, but I want to see if somebody else shares it. Like, what was your biggest takeaway last week from how we raise private money? Anybody have a good one? You guys can unmute too or pop in the chat.
Hi, Casey. Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
All right. So my situation is I am cash rich. I'm house rich, cash poor. So yeah, yep. I own 7 properties, two duplexes, and 3 single families. A couple of them, actually most of them are vacant right now. I only have 2 rentals. The problem is my houses are in Johnstown. The value of these houses is anywhere between $40,000 and $70,000. Banks won't lend under $100,000 unless you do a portfolio loan. And if you do a portfolio loan, they want you to take out $450,000. I don't need that. I need $150,000. What would you suggest?
Ooh, that is a good one. Okay. So and there's a couple ideas floating around in my head. Immediately.
And I'm sorry, wait, let me throw one more thing at you. I'm going to throw 2 more. Great name, Casey. My daughter's name is Casey. Second thing is, private money lenders don't want to go more than 6 months. It's rare to find one for a year, but I was looking for a PML at like 4 to 5 years with a balloon at the end. Okay,
how about, let me ask you this too, and that's where I was going to go to, and you're going to like this today, what I talk about, and this tees me up really well. What about like DSCR lender, like a DSCR lender, or more of like not a bank, but you talk to them?
Well, I went for that, but it's going to cost me $7,000 each house. That's a lot to pay for a loan.
Okay. You know what I would do? I would recommend is, let me put you in touch with, the good news is Patricia, it's becoming like, I feel like the capital, I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but when it comes to like lenders, they're like that. I feel like that industry is, especially private money or like DSCR lenders or like brokers. I feel like there's so many out there, and there's got to be some that would love to be able to package those up. And it sounds like you would package up 2 or 3 of them, but not 450.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
So now I'm going to throw another fly into the ointment for you. So I'm really looking for a hypothecation loan where they're going to use the house as the collateral. Not necessarily so much my credit, because my credit is low right now because I charged my cards up to do repairs.
Yes, I 100% feel that. That's exactly what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So I really think that let me help make some connections for you, Trisha, and I can share with the whole group. You know what? We just need to do that. Clint, let's make that note. We should just share our list of our, like, again, these are more, they're lenders across the country that like, I just get approached all the time, Patricia, of like people who are like, because it used to be, they're just, they're all hard money lenders where you're paying 12%, 13, 14, 15%, 2 or 3 points. But now I'm finding all those guys, well, A, they're getting better rates. And then B, they all want to do long-term stuff. And they're all want to be like, hey, we do rentals. We'll get you a 30-year amortization. We'll do all these different things. Right. So
that would be great.
Yeah. And you're not going to get the same rate as a bank, but also you're not going to pay hard money lent fees.
I'm only borrowing 150.
Yeah.
You know,
you'll have enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's got to be one of these guys that would do it. Yeah, I agree. They're not going to get too excited about one deal at 40,000, but if you're looking at packaging a couple of them up and you're thinking 150K, that's
100 to 150, I'll take either.
Yeah. Well, heck, I mean, you know me. Yeah, if you probably think like me, if you're thinking about you use your credit cards to grow, or I mean, not like in a good way, like 0% interest credit cards, which by the way, next week, guys, the final part of the private money is actually some like alternative ways to invest, to basically come up with private money, whether it's from you or somebody else. We're going to be talking about HELOCs, 0% interest credit cards, lending off of your stocks. I don't know if everybody knows this, but you can lend off your 401k. Even if it's not, if self-directed is one thing, but even if it's just your 401k you can't tap into, you can A, take a loan, or B, if you have money in the stock market, you can borrow off those assets. But that's going to be next week. But anyway, that's my solution, Patricia. There will be some you will, I think, find after I go through some stuff today that there are some private money lenders that will still do it. You just got to keep talking to the right ones. Because I'll just tell you this, all right? Yes, I get a lot of people that want to come in for 3 to 6 months and they want to get 12%, and I do that all the time. But I'm finding there's a lot of people that are like, you know what? I want to invest in somebody I trust, and I want to just put my money to work, and I don't want to have to go underwrite a new deal in 3 months and go vet another opportunity, underwrite another house, right? They're just like, I want to put it with somebody who I can keep it working. And even if I make a little bit less, it's about the time, right? Not everyone has the time to go be a gator and be a really good underwriter. And to be a gator and make those high returns, you have to be a great underwriter and be very careful, right? Yeah. Good question. I wasn't sure where you're going to go with that. I was worried you were going to give me a deal and it's going to pull you back, but you teed me up perfectly. Okay. Good. All right. Well, I was going to share with you guys. Yeah. Good questions too, Melissa. Can you get them rented? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. And make sure we'll talk more about it, but getting some of them rented out and cash flowing is going to help you. But even
well, actually there's just one needs a roof and the other ones are like almost finished being renovated. One of my tenants just passed away last week. So now I don't even know what the inside of that house looks like because I buy my houses at tax auction. So,
all right. Yeah, you buy the really, really rough ones. I like it. That's a great way to build wealth.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Melissa, what can I do to get into a foreclosure? Lots of equity, although the owner passed away. Yes. Melissa, let's talk about that one here in a bit. Because you know what? I had one pop up and shared, and we were kind of thinking about the same thing. All right, man, we have got a full list today. And guys, we've been going for 3 hours lately. So if you guys want to just crank out calls. So this first kind of hour, I'm going to go about, 20 minutes really quick here. And then after that, we're going to be working through these problems. And then I've got scheduled calls with Mike and some like live leads. And then we're going to go to my no one left behind call challenge calls too. So you guys are going to get 3 hours of calls and stay as long as you like, but I appreciate everybody being on here. So, okay, let's hop in. I just wanted to kind of give you guys kind of a quick rundown. So my big takeaway, guys, from last week, and hopefully you guys caught this, was there's a lot of people when they're trying to raise private money, they only think you could raise private money in first position, right? But I found my big kind of thing I wanted to drive home last week for you guys is if you have properties with equity, even if you have a loan on it and you don't want to go refinance that loan because you got it at like 3 or 4% a couple years ago, what I do is I do second position loans on my rentals. And then I just underwrite it to show my private money lender that, hey, you're very well protected. And often I can go above 70%. I've gone up to 90% sometimes with people if it had really good cash flow. because they're like, I know you're not gonna run off on this one, Casey, and if you do, I'm gonna be pumped because I'm gonna get this awesome cash flowing property, right? But they also know that I'm not gonna walk away from my great cash flowing property, right? Okay, so I'm gonna kind of walk through some of these guys and just kind of walk. Today, I'm just gonna go through the whiteboard. So hopefully you guys can see pretty well. I'm gonna check that up here. All right, everybody, how is the visual there? Can you guys, how bad is that glare? Can you guys see my one so far? Or do we need a brighter color? How is it? You guys can see it okay? All right. And maybe let me know if the red's a little bit better, okay? So let's talk about like strategy, and actually, I want in the next like 10 to 15 minutes, I want you guys to be like, if you're like 0 to 1, if you just got to get started raising money, and where do you even start? Who do I talk to? I want to give you guys like a little bit of that, and then I'm going to show you how I've kind of start to take it to the next level, okay? So first off, like you just got to figure out, I would just call it your personal Rolodex, right? So let's talk about your personal Rolodex. That's going to be step 1, right? So your personal, these are like the personal people you know. And this is something you could start right away. It's just start working through the people you know in your phone. And I say Rolodex, that's for the older crowd. They might have a bunch of business cards and a stack of them somewhere. But the rest of you guys probably just have your phone, like, right? Like this is something that I've done. And I took all my contacts in my phone. I downloaded them actually into Excel. And then I started to sort them. I'm like, okay, who that I've worked with that I have a good relationship would be somebody worth calling and be like, hey, and guys, this is the best way to do it, is you call them and you just check in and say, hey, Bowser hopped in. I'll be like, hey, Bowser, I haven't talked to you for a while, man. I know we worked together several years ago. I know we worked for like 5 years together. I've been investing in real estate and things are going good. What's new with you, man? How's the wife and kids? Get to know, check in with him. But as you kind of tell people what you're doing, then and you could be as direct as you want. You could come out and be like, hey, so anyway, I'm doing all this stuff, but my big bottleneck right now is I don't have enough money to do more deals. And I've worked with a couple other people who've lended for me and they've been happy, and would you be interested? Right? So that's one kind of quick way to just go through, to just start to work through all the contacts in your phone. So like step 1, if you're just like, I got to raise money and I don't know where to start in your personal Rolodex, okay? And that literally could just be manually calling through them. I mean, you don't even have to do what I did, download them in Excel, because you're not a Excel nerd like me and Mike Van Maren, and you're going to start working through your contacts and just start calling them from A to Z. Work down and just start making calls and talking to people, because ultimately it's fun to check. I mean, if you're a personable type of person, which I'm going to get into later, which is really key when raising money, you're just going to get to connect and talk to some people, right? Okay. And guys, feel free. Definitely pop any questions in the chat. A buck wants some bacon. That's right. Okay, here we go. So step 2 now let's think about the system, okay? So what types of systems now can you put in place? So like, again, just very like bare bones, bootstrapping it. You're just going to start calling people, okay? Now start to think about a system. So kind of when I think about my system, it's all based on like my social media and content. So, right? So my system is going to be like social media is going to be part of it, right? So social media, and I'm not going to get too deep into funnels, right? But that's just one way that I just talk about everything I'm doing. And maybe not everyone feels comfortable with that, but I think you should start to be comfortable about sharing what you're doing. Because guys, I'm telling you, when people see what you're doing and you do it consistently, okay, I'll share this. You guys this probably isn't a shocker, but because I committed like 3 or 4 years ago to talking about everything I do in real estate, people have been watching me for years. And it's so cool now because I'll have private money lenders who will message me out of the blue. And it's kind of funny because I've been like saying, reach out for years, but 3 years later, I'll have somebody that I went to college with and they're like, Casey, I've been watching you for like 4 years. I sold my company, or I had an exit from a company, or I've been saving and I wanted to get to this threshold before I invested and I'm ready to go. And guys, because those people have been seeing me over and over for 3 or 4 years, all the deals, and they see that I'm not just some guy that pops on Instagram one day and talks about a house, like I'm consistent. They trust me now. And guys, this is probably the biggest thing I could give you if you really want to raise money and be serious about it, is being consistent. Because here's the other thing you do. The other option is you just go up to here to the Rolodex one and you just go have lunch with as many people as you can. And I think that's a great way to raise money. Just go have lunch with people, get to know them. Like that's going to be a deeper connection than just calling them, right? And you can't call everybody. You can call the people you don't live by, but the people you live by, you can go to lunch with. But those people very rarely, and I always ask this question, I'll ask it right now. Anybody, put it in the chat. Has anyone ever gone to lunch? Maybe somebody who was trying to raise money and they went and had lunch with somebody who was interested. Has anybody ever had that person at lunch, like ready to invest 100K, like right after lunch? Like they're like, where do I write the check? I'm ready to go. Has anybody ever had that happen? I'm going to guess the answer is no. It's never happened with me. I mean, I've had people that like were pretty interested, but it's never right away. And often it takes months, right? They want to get to know you better. They want to get to know the deal better, right? There's this whole, and that's what's going to happen for you guys when you're first starting out, is they're not going to be ready right away. But here's the difference now, because I've been consistent for years, and these people who've been watching me, now when they reach out, they are ready. They're like, we already know, we've already seen all the deals you do, Casey. Like, we're ready to go. Does that make sense? So that's why kind of the first part is like building out your social media, right? And then the other thing, so social media content. But now once you kind of start to do this, you got to get them out of your Instagram and out of your Facebook, and you got to get them into a CRM, all right? Anybody use a CRM for your direct to seller leads? Anybody? Yeah, there we got a couple. Cool. Is anybody using a CRM to capture all your private money lenders? Anybody if you guys are, that's awesome. That's the next level. Is anybody? Okay, Michelle uses Excel. Cool. And there's lots of platforms, right? But who is keeping track of raise your hand or put it in the chat. Is anybody using a CRM or even Excel to keep track of every one of your private money lenders? Good, Mike's doing it. Cool, a couple people are, Chris, Francisco. Guys, so that's the next level, right? I'm gonna put here CRM, right? And I use Go High Level for ours. You could use a spreadsheet. You guys are seeing a bunch of different examples in the chat, but you gotta have a way to keep track of all these people, because just like a seller, when it comes to raising private money, it's about the follow-up, right? You gotta keep staying in front of these people, right? You gotta be consistent. And what my strategy is, and Pace is the exact same, right? He wants to capture somebody on Instagram or on Facebook that sees him, is interested. He wants to capture their email, get him into his CRM. Now he can keep them updated, which is the same thing I do. Like anytime I have a new deal I need private money for, I go and I send that out to my private money lenders and I say, hey, here's a new deal. Anybody interested, right? Or if I finish a flip or whatever I do, I keep them up to date. So now not only are they getting hit through social media, but they're also getting hit up with email. And this is a great way for the older demographic, because, okay, here's the thing that I've been challenged with before when raising private money. And people are like, well, none of my private money lenders are on Facebook and Instagram. Well, they're definitely not on Instagram. They might be on Facebook, right? Maybe they're on LinkedIn, but they're not on social media, right? They're people from the older generation that aren't on social media. So how do you communicate with them? Well, my strategy has been, we talk, I think about how do these people like to take in content, right? Or how are they staying up to date? And it might not be Facebook or all the social media, but they still check their email. So those are people that I might have to go to lunch with, or maybe I get introduced from somebody. But when I find those people, I put them in to my CRM and I get them on an email campaign. So now that, we'll call this 70-year-old John, who's retired and looking to invest some of his 401k or his self-directed, and he's got some other capital to invest. Now John, who's never on social media, is now seeing all my content and all my deals, just like somebody on Facebook, and I get to consistently hit him. You guys see the process there? Cool. Yeah, a lot of you guys are on Pace's list, right? You see all the deals he sends, so you see exactly what we're talking about. And guys, it can be simple. You don't have to go have an elaborate email marketing. Like when I was at Owners Club 2 weeks ago, Pace brought his copywriter that does all the copies for his emails. He actually poached the guy from Grant Cardone, and he came up and spoke, and he taught us all about how do you write really good emails, okay? You don't have to be on that level. You can literally just keep track of your investors, and every time you have a new deal, email them, right? Shoot it out to them, okay? Really kind of a simple way to do it, okay? So that's kind of all about the sort of social media, CRM, and just being sort of consistent with the deals you're talking about, right? And then the other thing I would say is just building out a credibility packet, which, yeah, let's kind of go there. So next thing is your credibility. So you know what? I'm going to share this in the chat really quick with you guys. So this will blow your guys' mind. This is, I don't know if I've shared this with you guys. Have I shared my track record where I put every single deal we've ever done, and I put the HUD sheets, and I put in the photos, and I put how much our investor made, the return we paid. Have I talked about this before, guys? You might have to remind me. Okay, so I just put this link in here, guys. So if you click on that link, that is something I started doing about a year ago. And I keep track of every single, this doesn't have every deal, but I try to put as many as I can. And I basically, because I learned this from another capital raiser. They're like, if you can't prove the deals you've done and you can't justify it with like the closing statement and photos and like addresses, and Pace does this all the time, right? He'll share all the deals he's done. He's not afraid to do it. But I share this Google Sheet with my lenders, and I've just, over the years, I've built this up, right? And not everybody's going to have this. If you haven't done a deal, obviously you're not going to have an expansive track record. But if you're just started, or maybe you've done 5 deals or 10 deals or 100, start this now and start every time you close a deal, go in there and attach it. I had my VA do this. He went through and attached all the settlement statements. So now when people are curious, hey, well, tell me about some deals you've done. It's not me just being like, oh yeah, I flipped this house and made this much. Like, I'm like, here, go look at these 125 deals I've done, right? And I understand not everybody's done that, but that's eventually what you want to get to if you really want to build some credibility, right? Because you got to have a track record, okay? So that's one big part of credibility, right? Is a track record. Another thing I do is testimonials, right? Is anytime somebody ever had a good experience, and again, you're not going to have this immediately, but as soon as you do a deal with somebody and it goes well, like I get on Riverside. Riverside's like Zoom. I go on and I do a Zoom call with them. I record it, and then I have my VA edit it, and now I've got testimonials. Okay, so those are kind of the next level to build the credibility. That's really going to take your private money lending to the next level. Okay. Another thing I want you guys to think about is your avatar, right? So who is your private money avatar? Meaning, who would lend money to you? And guys, this is different for everybody. So for me, my niche or my avatar, the perfect person I can raise money from, there's 2 of them. All right. We'll go back to my son coming in here. Actually, just trying to think if anybody can guess this. Any guesses on my demographic on who I've raised the most money from? I've probably raised several $1 million from this demographic of people. You know what? They're not even demographic. They're just a group of people I'm associated with. Any guesses? Oh man, Wayne! Did I already give it away? I must have given it away. Or either that or Wayne's a good, or okay, engineers. Well, we're retirees, good. Okay, man, Wayne, I must have told you, or you're a good listener. My number 1 is the parents of kids that I coach, right? Like I volunteer, but this could be you guys at your church. This could be whatever community, wherever you like to spend your time in, and people who know you are. Because what I'm going to get to in a second, guys, is like your like personality, right? What makes you you, right? Because people want to invest in people they trust, right? And I've built trust with the parents of the kids that I've coached, right? I love coaching. As you saw, my son came in here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I love this Zoom, but the thing I'm most excited about tomorrow is getting to go coach my son in the semifinals, right? Of football. I love that. It doesn't get any better, okay? But I do love this Zoom, probably second. But anyway, the way it's kind of paid off for me, guys, is because like these parents, they get to know me, right? They get to know how I treat their kids, and I'm trying to give you guys examples so you could picture like where do people see you show up and show the type of person you are. So I show up for the kids because I love football and I love being around kids and I love helping and coaching, right? So in those settings, the parents get to see that. And fortunately, I live in a wealthier part of Houston, and there's all these people, which if you drove around here, you'd be like, what in the world do these people do? That's what I ask myself. But anyway, their kids are all on my team, and they all have some expendable income, and I build trust with them throughout the season. And one little tip I do is I started doing this a couple years ago is I just updated my signature. Because last night I'm coaching basketball. I got a brand new team of 10 parents, and I send out the opening email to tell them, hey, this is what to expect this season. But in the bottom of my email, I put what I do, and I put a link to, hey, here's how I help people invest passively in real estate. And it's got a video, and it's got a link to book 15 minutes, right? So immediately those people, at least I am, when somebody sends out an email, I'm like, hey, I wonder what that guy does for a living, right? So that's kind of a passive way for me to show them. And that's been one of my best ways to raise private money, okay? But my bigger pipeline, my bigger niche, somebody nailed it. Who was it? Michelle. Michelle knows me pretty well, is oil and gas professionals, okay? And guys, this is one I think anybody can go leverage, okay? I worked in oil and gas for 12 years, and I knew what it was like to work. I know how those guys tick, right? And I also know that those guys make a lot of money, but a lot of them don't know how to spend it. And a lot of them spend so much time working, they don't even have time to go be a fix and flipper. They're not crazy like me, and they don't spend all their time on their days off investing in real estate like I did for 10 years to build up my portfolio, okay? Most people don't want to do that. So those have been my niche to raise money from. And again, you have that connection. So guys, think about your industry. If maybe I saw a bunch of doctors in here earlier, you guys, that's a perfect niche, right? Those guys have some possible income to invest, but it doesn't have to be a doctor. It doesn't have to be an attorney. Could be any job, could be teachers. Maybe you guys are a teacher, right? But there are so many people who want to invest in real estate and you have that common connection. So that's one of the really big ones I wanted to talk about, because again, back to the personality, guys, people want to invest and they want to know the deal. And guys, last week, I'm going fast now, but guys, last week we talked about like the underwriting and actually like kind of the logistics in the deal, and because people want to invest in the deal. But today, guys, I'm talking more about it's the it's the jockey and the horse, right? People want to bet on the jockey, not the horse, right? They're betting on you. You're the jockey, right? The horse might be the deal. It's a great deal, but that jockey is going to drive that deal and they want to bet on you, because at the end of the day, if things go sideways, they want to bet on you. So anyway, what questions you guys have so far on private money and kind of structure? Because I want to give you guys kind of the blueprint of how to, you could take this to different levels, right? But I want to at least give you guys something to start taking action on. And then the last thing I'm going to share before we kind of move on is kind of how I do it at scale now, right? So I started out here, just maybe like a lot of you guys, just calling people that I knew. And then the next step was me talking about it on Facebook. The next step was me starting to organize it. And it was a spreadsheet at first, right? But then it turned into a CRM where I keep track of it. And where it's evolved now is now I know my avatar. Now I know, okay, I do specific marketing now, and I do Facebook ads, and I do honestly or organic content where I talk to my demographic. So when I'm making a video, I'm going to go talk about oil and gas people, and I'm going to talk about the pain, right? So who's heard of Donald Miller? Anybody Story Brand? There's a couple, there we go. Larry's heard of it. So guys, Donald Miller wrote the book Story Brand, and he's well known for that. It's all about the hero's journey, right? So when you're marketing yourself or whatever you're doing, it's not about you, it's about your customer, and your customer is the hero, okay? You are the guide. So the way I show up is the guide in my videos is I say, hey, Mr. Oil and Gas worker that's been working on a drilling rig for off and on for 2 weeks, missing away from your family, always worried about prices of oil going negative or crashing, and you're worried about losing your job, and you're also tired about being away from your family. Like, I've been in your shoes and I took action and I was able to go invest in real estate, and now I get to be home with my family all the time. I don't have to worry about the volatility. I've solved that problem, and I want to help you. If you're interested in learning how to do that, like, let's hop on a call, right? So you see how, like, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about who is the hero. I'm talking to the hero is the worker or the oil and gas guy. The problem is worried about being laid off, tired of missing their important family memories, tired of being stuck on a rig instead of being home with your family, right? I speak to that pain, and then I talk about how do we solve it, right? It's like, it's the same scene of any movie. If you guys listen to Story Brand, that's how Donald Miller relates it. So anyway, that's kind of how I'm taking it to the next level of talking to my demographic and ultimately getting them to invest. So that's kind of like where the content and the funnels all come in. And guys, this is kind of all next level, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of how it evolves. And this, again, this started me probably, let me think about this, like I would say 2017. So 7-8 years ago, it was me just finding friends and family, going through my Rolodex, people investing on a deal and securing them in first or second position. All right. And then it evolved with me talking to more people. And then where it's now kind of gone to today is now I have a fund. So I use Bighorn Capital Fund to raise money at scale, because what you'll find is doing all like the one-off promissory notes, and I'm still doing those, and they're a lot of work. Like, if you're going and securing every property, I literally have to have 2 people on my team that are doing the logistics of all the promissory notes, all the mortgages, making sure everything's on auto pay, all the keeping investors updated, all those different things. When you're doing it on multiple deals, it becomes a full-time job for potentially multiple people, right? But the way that I've been able to scale it is now through my fund. So now I have a debt fund through Bighorn Capital Fund that I can bring in people who can invest money. We pay 12%, but we give our investors the opportunity to pull money out within 90 days. It's called our Ponderosa Continuous Offering Fund, where people could come in and out. And what I found is, guys, when you're raising private money, you shared it earlier about, who was it? Was it Patricia? Patricia shared it earlier about, hey, I don't have a lot of people who want to go invest for 2 years or want to do long-term, right? So early on, And what I do to solve and make kind of an easy yes when it comes to investing is, hey, go put your money in. I'm going to back it by property, and we're going to allow you to get in and out within 90 days. So that's one of the big things I do now. And with that fund now when I get opportunities on problems to profits, I can go use that pool of money or bring in more money to it to go fix and flip, right? And it's kind of an evergreen debt fund. So let me know if you guys, I mean, that's a whole nother Zoom talking about funds and whatnot, but I wanted to kind of show you guys how it's evolved from all the way from just friends and family to now. Now my fund is actually for accredited investors, so I can do marketing, I can do Facebook ads, you name it, Instagram ads.
Hey, Kate.
Yep, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Casey. I got a question, man. It's kind of just referencing like the types of private money lenders. So when it comes to it, like I have people in my network. Like I've done stand-up comedy. I've been in the entertainment industry in LA for a while. I got a lot of like networks and connections, and I bartend. So I got a lot of folks that come in that I'm aware of that have money. But there's like this pool of people who are actually investors, and then there's a pool of people who just don't know what to do with their money. Are you kind of like staying away from either bucket, or it's like, hey, my guys that are a little more savvy, they may know about investing, they're not deep into real estate investing, but their terms are going to be a little higher, or they're going to want a little more, sometimes ownership and stuff, versus the people who have no idea, they just have money or, IRAs that they can roll over. What's kind of like your idea of, well, I kind of like to stay away from these folks, or, I'll see what they want and meet them there, even, and just make sure it fits the deal? What's kind of like your temperature there?
Man, that's a good point. I didn't even have that built in today, but man, Wayne makes such a good point, right? So I would call them, and you kind of, it's kind of back to the avatars, right? Like the types of investors. So I would call it let's call it the professional. We got the professional investor. And then our second one is our just kind of like, we could call it our novice investor or novice investor, okay? So this is really good for everybody to think about. So when you're starting out early on, and guys, the professional investor, I would call that a gator, right? If you're borrowing from gators, they're smart and they're savvy, and shark might be an extreme word, but they're savvy and they know what good returns are, and they're going to expect you're going to pay a premium, right? So this one we're going to pay a premium for, okay? But the nice thing is, to Wayne's point, is these people are typically going to have access to more money, and they're going to be easier to work with if you can jump through their hoops and afford them, right? They're a good option, right? But to answer your question finally, Wayne, I think this is who I would attack. And this is, I think, who everybody on this call should be attacking early on, because these are the people that are in your community, the people you have relationships with. The problem is they're not going to have as much money, right? There's some downsides to them, but yeah, okay, I'll tell you this. When you guys are probably like, Casey, how are you raising money in second position at 12%? Like, how are you annually? When other people are like, I can't get 15% on a deal and I have to give it back in 6 months, right? That's what gators want. But the reason is because I'm talking to people who are, they're not a professional investor that's looking at a ton of different deals, right? But there's somebody who want a return on their money. So Wayne, if that answers your question, I would 100% be investing. I'd invest time in both, right? I do that to this day too, right? I have meetings with people that are like very sophisticated, know what they're doing, know what they're looking for. And those are people who I'm keeping in my CRM, because those are guys that I might bring into a large syndication where there's a little bit more return. And those are also people who are going to understand a more complex deal, right? Versus these novice people, they want simplicity. And you know what? Do you guys think these novice people like debt or equity? What would you guys guess? Or what would your advice be? What do you think my advice is going to be on how you should structure a novice investor? Debt or equity? That's right. Michael said debt. Yep, exactly. You guys nailed it. It's debt, right? So guys, the way to get started and make this very simple, and the way to get to that big, I talked about the credibility, right? And the track record. The way you get there is you work with novice, at least the way I have. I work with, I don't know if that's the right word for it. I need my man Clint. He's good, better with words than I am. But novice investor, these guys, I would structure them as debt, because debt is easy to understand. And if you go back to last week's Zoom, I can walk them through a spreadsheet and show them, this is what the house is worth. This is what I'm buying it for, or this is what the first position loan is. This is what the second position loan is. All right. So they see the difference and the gap, right? And now here's how much I'm going to pay you. And here's how I could pay you, because if you watched last week's episode 2, I talk about, hey, is there enough cash flow to pay the current expenses and pay your private money loan, right? If you could show them that, that's easier to digest for somebody who's a little bit more novice. And if it's debt, it's super easy. Guys, I'm just telling you, when I tried to go raise my first fund, I was raising for this 65 unit apartment deal, and I was pitching it, and I was talking to a lot of these professional people, but even some that were novice. Well, okay, this will actually drive the point home, guys. When I was trying to raise, it was about $2 million to do this large deal. I was talking to professional investors. The professional ones were like, well, A, they wanted to take way more of the deal than I was willing to give up, right? And that I wanted to give up, and for the time I was gonna, and I had a home run of a deal, and I was gonna invest a bunch of time. So if I would have went with a professional investor, I would have lost the majority of the deal. I probably would have gave up 80%, and I would have kept like 20, okay? So that's what made them tough. But I was also talking to novice investors. Now the challenge with the novice investor is I was explaining an equity fund, and I was explaining that, hey, you get 7%, and then after that we split 80-20, and then we split 60-40 after we hit the next hurdle. And it got really complicated, and it's like, those guys, they didn't understand it, right? They just, probably a lot of you guys are like, what the heck, what's Casey talking about? Preferred returns and waterfalls and all this equity stuff. Like, that's complicated, right? That's for these guys up here. But the novice ones are like, so what I did, guys, on this deal is I went and found, well, I gotta, again, keep driving this point home. I went and found a parent of a guy that I'd coached. I knew him pretty well. He was working, actually, parent, and he was in oil and gas. Guy was doing really well. He was like a CEO of a small company. And I found him, and we went in 50-50 on this deal, and we bought it. And guys, what I did at the time was I got the deal done. But all those people, this is maybe a big takeaway. I wasn't planning to tell you guys, but I think you'll like this. So what I did, and because everyone could do this on their next deal. So back to that deal, I was trying to raise $2 million. I talked to a ton of people. I went to all these lunches with pitch this deal. I had a pitch deck. I had a presentation. I spent all the time like building out the thing, and everybody was interested, but they weren't ready to go. Again, it was either the professional guy that was looking for more. He wanted more, right? More than I wanted to give up. Or I was talking to the novice guy who just didn't quite understand it, okay? But what I did is I did it with my partner. We took it down. And what I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna make this deal a home run, and I'm gonna make my partner a lot of money and myself, and I'm gonna document every piece of it. So every time I went to that property, I was on social media. Every couple of months, I would update on my investors list, because all those people I talked to, back to the CRM, right? I got their information. I kept talking to them, and I kept showing them this deal, right? So I was building my track record, and I wanted to show those guys who didn't do it, like, hey, here's the deal you missed out on. So then a year later, when I did my second raise through my fund, when you guys talked about, I've talked about this one a ton. It's on Lilac Way. It's in Evanston. It's 45 units. We're fixing them up and going to refinance. So then when I went to do that deal and raise the money, it was way, way easier, because I've been showing, A, I had a track record, and B, I was showing people exactly what I did. And then C, kind of all the way back to what took me down this rabbit hole, is I simplified for these novice people who were interested in investing, but they didn't understand that equity deal. What I did is I kept working with them, and I put them in like little single family flips or any other little smaller deals. I would put them in because I could just pay them 12%. I could secure them in first or second position, and we could go do a 3 to 6 month deal. And that was palatable, right? People can get behind that. And I know I'm going really fast, guys, but if you hear that, like, a great way to build a track record and be able to do deals with private money lenders, which will allow you to do bigger deals later, is you got to go do the small deals, right? And make them simple, make them just straight debt. And maybe you got to go pay 15 to 20%. But if you find a good enough deal, you could do that, right? And you don't, just because you go pay 15 to 20% on your first deal does not mean you have to do it the rest of the way like that, right? Go do the deal, complete it, and then get a testimonial from that guy, add it to your track record, and now you could start to get better rates and work it way down to where, like, my goal is I would love to be able to borrow at like 8 to 10%. Right now I'm between 12 to 15, right? I'm trying to get down maybe around 10%, right? But it takes time, it takes credibility, it takes track record. All right, I'm gonna go to the questions. I've been talking a lot here. So good one here, Patricia. What if you don't have the funds to pay back? Okay, so good question, Patricia. I structure, and I'm very open with the investors, right? I'm like, hey guys, because there are a lot of investors that only want to do it for 3 to 6 months, and the flip might not be done there. So what I'll do is I've done this several times. I'll just replace them with another investor, or I'll pay them off and then I'll backfill them with somebody if they need the money out. But I'll tell you guys, the majority of the time, if you just pay them monthly, which is a whole nother tip, is guys, if you're going to invest money, if you're going to work with a private money lender, rather than paying them all on the back end, which is a lot simpler, and it's better in terms of cash flow management. Like, bite the bullet and pay them every single month. Because if you pay them every month, there's that mental thing of like, oh wow, I'm getting mailbox money. Every month I invest with Casey, I get a check for this much, right? So then after 3 months or 6 months, if my flip needs to go longer and I'm like, hey, can I keep paying you that check every month? And are you good if we keep this going a little bit longer? They're like, heck yeah, I want that. I like my mailbox money, right? So that's one tip, is pay people monthly. I did not have that written down today, but glad you pushed me into that one, Patricia. Does that answer your question though? Like, you're either gonna have to refinance or replace them with somebody, or work it into your contract. Be like, hey, after 6 months, I could get a 6-month extension and maybe you have to put in a fee. Maybe say, hey, for $500, I can extend 6 months, right? That might be, I wouldn't start there. I would just say, hey, can we extend after 6 months if needed? And if they want an extension fee, you can do it. What other questions you guys have? I've went for an hour now on private money. Borrow enough. Yep. Yes. Good point, Michelle. Or sorry, that's Michael. Yeah, Michael made a good point. When you're borrowing and setting up these deals, underwrite it so you have enough extra in your reserves to pay off interest. That's a really good point. Cool. Any other questions on private money? Was this helpful, or did I talk way too fast? I get excited about it.
Hey, Casey. Also, what about? I hear Pace talk about it every once in a while, but what about also borrowing enough money to pay yourself when the deal closes? Are you underwriting your deals like that? So it's like, hey, I can make 5 or 10 grand, got all these expenses, but this goes in my pocket outside, having to pay for it, putting stuff to the side for interest and those further down the line payments. You do that as well?
Absolutely. Great point, Bowser. Yeah, so I started doing that, a couple years ago. And if you guys go back to last week when I was underwriting it, I was showing you guys, like, literally, I want to be able to pay, because running a direct-to-seller marketing company is not cheap, right? I've got overhead and people. Or if you're doing it yourself, you got to make a living too. And guys, I kind of had that limited mindset too. And there will be, oh man, I get excited again. I'm going to slow down. So there will be investors that will push back and be like, what, you're taking a $20,000 acquisition fee? Well, the answer is, yeah, I am. I found a good deal. And if I were to go to sell this deal to somebody else, they would pay that fee. So you gotta kind of get past that mindset, and you might get pushback. But what I have found is, if you find the right private money lenders and they understand that, hey, you have cost and time into this deal to find it, paying yourself on the front end, is completely justified. So yeah, you're gonna find some people that say no, but there are plenty of people who will say yes. And I would 100% encourage it. Yeah, you're gonna pay interest on it, but it's a cash flow game, right? You gotta have cash coming in. Go ahead, Corey. You got one?
I have a deal I got a question about.
Sweet. All right. I'm going to hop into deals here too. Okay. Any other questions on private money lending? Yeah, for sure. Go watch last week's too. Will be good. And then next week we'll go into how to different alternative ways to get access to capital. All right. I'm going to let you. Okay. And then Larry, did you just have a question on a deal, Larry? Or we'll come back to Larry. All right. Let's let you go, Corey. All right. I'm going to let Corey jump the line just because I asked him the question, and Corey still gets to wear the crown of the first big deal put together on Problems to Profits. So anyway, take it away, Corey.
So about what you were been just talking about, I've been actually trying to find private money for my deal. And so I actually just put a message in Sub2, and I had a bunch of people reach out to me. So that's another way. I was on the Sub2 family night, and Pace did a thing where I wanted all new people to put their information, and then they wanted senior people like yourself, Casey, to reach out. And so I've had a bunch of meetings the last couple of days about people wanting to partner with me. So that's another way that you can, raise private money. But anyways, about my deal. So it's through a wholesaling company. It's on Investor Lift. It's a deal in Florida. So I'm nervous about it because of the insurance issues. While you were talking, I reached out to an insurance guy and just waiting to hear back from him. So initially they wanted $398,100. And they say the ARV is 670,000. I comped it. It's pretty much close to that. I went to Collateral Analytics and looked at what the value is right now. They said 445,000. And so the homeowner is an elderly person, can't afford to do the repairs, and she owes $117,875. I offered to do a contract for deed following what you teach. And they said, no, it has to be a cash offer or a private money lender or hard money lender. So then I came back and offered $356,100, which is 90% of what they were asking. They came back and asked me if I could do $375. I didn't respond because I kind of wanted to see how, motivated they were. Then they responded back to me again and then asked me if I would come, give them a feedback and let them know how close I could get to the deal. They've since told me they want to make a decision by the end of this week. Then they said that I noticed that they lowered their price on Investor Lift. So I messaged them and said that. And then while we're on this Zoom right now, they tried calling me. So my one thing is I want to know, is it a deal? Because it does need some foundation repairs, and that's a thing that you don't like. And I talked to the contractor that they had gotten a quote for, and he says it's very minor compared to other ones that he deals with. So he gave a 14,000 option, which is a grout option, or underpinning, which is the 35,000. Plus it needs a new roof. So with my calculations, there's like 100,000 there for profit. And I just want to know, do you think it's a deal?
Yeah, where's it located?
Bradenton, Florida.
What part was
Bradenton?
Bradenton? Okay, got it. My just gut tells me, they're struggling to move it, right? And they're trying to get it moved.
Yeah.
I almost share this with my team on our call today. It's like, guys, this right now, and I'll just say this in general, we see this in our markets, and I feel like it's across the country, maybe less so in the warmer areas, but like right now, nothing is still moving. Like there's a lot of optimism because of the election, but like, guys, I feel like next spring is going to be gangbusters and it's going to be moving. But like in our market, like I saw this all last year where like things stop moving and people aren't buying, and these investors, like they're gonna get more and more motivated. So Corey, I tend to think that, if I were looking at that deal, I would probably only look at it if we were using the Revive method with them. And I know they want cash, and it's like, well, I'm sure you do, but here's my 2 cents. If I were working the deal, I would call the guy and be like, hey, I'm not making a cash offer. It's too risky. There's foundation stuff. Like it's just too much. You're not gonna, like, my price would not be enough. But if we could structure this the way I'd like to structure it, where I pay you when on the back end, then let's talk. And they're probably going to say, no, we need, because they're trying to wholesale it, right? And they've got to go repitch that to that seller. You know what I mean? But be like, hey, if you can't move this and you're willing to have a conversation with me, you and the seller, then let's do it. And then, because then I feel like I have no doubt we could structure a deal that way. But you got to let all the other offers fall off.
And my other worry is exactly what you said about the market, because with the election, there was a top guy, on Wall Street that said that the economy is actually worse than what everybody thought, that Biden, with pumping so much money into the economy, that he propped it up. And so he said that in the beginning of the year, the first quarter, that things are going to go down. But then, like you said, in spring, it's going to go gangbusters. So my worry is about, buying it and then prices go down. So one, I could get it for cheaper. Two, how long would I have to hold it, right? And so my main reason why I'm asking you is I want to do it, like you said, the Revive thing, because it's less risk to me. So how do you breach that gap to get them to talk about that, right? Because they've called me like 5 times, so they're obviously motivated. So how do you word that to them to get them to start considering that?
Yeah, I would just say, I'd love to help you. I would be more blunt just because I look at a lot of deals, but I think you're starting to find some stuff. And honestly, I don't know, man, it's just, I've lost money on too many flips to like go in and start bidding on a deal that, especially when it's not moving and it's got foundation. So I would be like, I'm interested, but the only way I'm interested is if I want to get on a call with me, and I'm happy to help you with it. I want to get on a call with me, you, and your seller, and I'm not trying to cut you out, but we've got to talk to the seller and see if this will work, and then you can get paid and we can get paid. And I would just say, hey, I think, yeah.
And I've got other leads on other properties in Florida that don't have foundation issues and stuff. And it's like, should I just pursue it with on that, right? But with Bradenton, since it's more in the middle of the state, it's more protected about, the storm stuff, right? And it's like, one was trying to find the money, right? Because my situation being Canadian, people are talking about how do you get it? I'm in the worst situation. My credit score can't be transferred down to the States. So how can I raise the money? And so I've actually found from what I've done this week that there is people willing to lend to me. So for the people in the Zoom, it's possible, right? I even actually had a call yesterday with somebody who's like an owner like yourself, who was actually wanting to partner with me to grow my construction companies here in Canada and possibly bring them down to the States. So there is real options about private money, right?
Yeah, I love
it. So do you think, would you be willing to go on a call, or do you think we should pass on it because the foundation? So the foundation in 2 areas, it's sunk 1.5 inches. And the guy said on the scale of 1 to 10 that it's like a 2 compared to what he normally deals with. And I know I got to take that with a grain of salt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So I would, quick answer and I'll keep it moving, Corey. Yeah, I would definitely get on a call. And then I'm going to answer a couple people have questions on the Revive method, which I'll ask. But yeah, I'd be happy to get on a call. And I'll share the link again with you, Corey. But if you can go fill out my Revive method template, and then kind of pre-fill it out with those numbers you already talked about. And then, let's get on a call. And if you can get not be difficult but honestly, I think it'd be good. Like say, we'll get on a call with you if we have the seller on it and tell them we're not trying to cut you out, but we have a way that we could still pay them.
Yeah, because like as we're talking here, they just texted me, right? So this is like 7 times that they've been trying to get a hold of me here, and I haven't responded because for one, I'm trying to find the private money. Also, I'm wanting to kind of reel them in, right? Trying to get them to come to me, right? And see how motivated. So them calling me shows to me, calling me and trying to get a hold of me all of these amount of times, it's showing me that they're not getting the interest that they want. Yeah. Right. Sure. So do you mind if I text them and ask them that? As you're doing this class here? Yeah. And we could, if we make it a quick one, I could hop on and walk them through it. Yeah, because I got a couple people who haven't seen the Revive method. I could walk through the numbers really quick. Okay, so do you want to carry on with other stuff and then I try to arrange this? Sounds good. Perfect. Okay. Love it. Good, man. Thanks, Corey. So guys, the Revive method, thank you for asking. So not a dumb question, all right? But hopefully, I haven't seen anyone else call it this or have a name for this specific strategy. We've broke this down for 2 or 3 weeks. I'll give you the quick summary. It's like a novation, and we're going to show you this here in real time in a second. It's like a novation, but we're going to go do a bunch of work on the property, like foundation in this example, or whatever it is. But you don't ever want to do all that work just based on a novation contract because you're not as well protected. So what we do is we close on the property, buy it, and then what's basically like taking over a sub-2 loan, title transfers to us, we leave the loan in place, and then we have an agreement with the seller to pay them a profit share on the back end. And then they end up making more money on it. And when I walk you through the spreadsheet and how you calculate it, I think it'll make more sense. But if you guys are curious and watching this or have to hop off, again, go to problemstoprofits.com and go to our passive investing playbook, and I've got a link to that Revive spreadsheet. Has anybody used the Revive spreadsheet? Other than I know Mike has. Mike's getting to be a professional at it. Anybody else played with that spreadsheet and used it? Yeah, Buck's seen it. Cool. If you guys, anyway, it's not easy early on, but I'm happy to. And if anybody, guys, I'm quickly finding through this Zoom and through, guys, we're on almost week 20 now, is when you guys bring these deals that have a lot of equity or just some equity and they need work, those are perfect for the Revive method. And guys, no one knows how to pitch this. We're closing probably 80% of our deals using the Revive method. And when I show you guys how we de-risk the deal, it's mind-blowing. Okay, even with the Revive method, you still have to sell the house in a market where homes are sitting and not selling. Yes, William, awesome question. So this is the whole reason I started doing the Revive method, because guys, I started this probably 2 years ago when rates were going way up. I'm like, how am I gonna fix and flip when rates are going way up and I don't know what a house is gonna sell for, right? That's really scary. But because these deals have high equity, they take the risk. So I'm transparent with them. I'm like, hey guys, if the market craters, you might not get any money. And that's why I underwrite these to where a lot of times the total debt on it is only like 15% of the value. So, and the debt plus my rehab, like I'm never going over 70%. On a Revive method, often I'm at like 60%, maybe 50, right? That way we could literally fire sell this thing and still move it. And that's exactly how I mitigate it, William. But on a typical flip, your margin is probably around 70%, right? But I'm saying we're at more like 50 to 60 because like the only thing that has to be paid when that house is sold is the loan. For example, the deal that Corey brought, that house is worth $600 to $700K, right? But they only owe $275. So if I go put in $125K, we're sitting at 400, right? And the market value right now is 6 to 7. Like we could drop that thing $200K and still get paid back. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, let's get into some of these calls. So good one, Corey. We'll probably tee that one up later. All right, Adam, you were the very first one, and hopefully the guy's done getting a haircut. You ready to do this one, Adam? You still on?
Yeah, go to the really quick, Jay. Go to the on the website Problems to Profits. You'll see a link to the here. You know what? I'll directly share it with you. But if you went to the Passive Investing Playbook, I'll have your information. I'll make sure you get it. Thanks, Jay. Cool. All right, perfect. You're all set, Jay. Cool. All right. Do we still have Adam, or did Adam have to run? If not, we'll come back to him. We got another hour and a half.
Looks
so
like
plenty
Adam
of time.
stepped away, Casey.
Okay. All right. Let's go with Patricia. Let's do it. Patricia, you want to work your deal? You can unmute.
Hi.
Oh, or actually, did I answer it? Did you have another deal as well?
No.
You got it. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Got you, Patricia. We knocked you out big time. You're the and you guys would think I would pay Patricia to come on here. She teed up my presentation perfect. All right. Go ahead with Casey Brown had one. Is Casey still on?
Yep, I'm here. Hello.
All right.
Yeah, so I started calling this seller back in September because he was in pre-foreclosure. His lawyer ended up getting his auction stopped by adding the arrears to the back of the loan. He owes about $189, including the arrears. And his ARV, I think, is around 440. It's a half duplex in Denver. Really great location. It's walking distance to City Park, the zoo, the museum. It's only 850 square feet, but it needs a complete gut. But even though he's out of foreclosure, he still wants to sell. Like, he really wants to sell, but he won't take any lowball offers. You know, the motivation isn't there as much anymore. So I thought this might be a good one for the revive method, but I just don't know what to do with it anymore.
Love it. Before you said that, I was going to ask the audience if anybody knew the solution to this. So again, high equity, only owes 189, ARV of 440, needs a bunch of work, 100%. So Casey, we've done this several times with the same thing. It's like, we got to figure out the arrears, and if it's already stuck on the back, it's perfect. We'll just step into the payments and make it work. Is this one I can call and talk her through?
Yeah, he's ready to talk to you. Yeah.
Right. Man, I finally got you guys trained. This is good. I'm excited. Okay, let's share. Let me share my screen really quick, and this will be a good exercise for you guys to see the template. I'm going to share it with you guys to talk about how I'm thinking about these numbers. Okay, so if I go to our revive, my secret goal is that everybody in sub 2 starts to call the revive method, knows it by this. Like they got names for everything else, but I would have called it this, but they didn't have a name for it. So you guys can help me make it stick. Okay, has anybody heard of it? Anybody else calling this other than all I've heard it called is like a JV? Okay, so here we go. We'll go always when you go into the sheet, we'll go duplicate it. Okay, what's the address of it?
2823 North Madison Street.
Okay. All right, so put it up here. All right, and then let's go pull it up on Zillow. Everybody can get a quick visual for our visual people out there, myself included. Not listed, right?
Not listed. No.
Heck yeah. How'd you find this lead? What kind of marketing?
I was just cold calling.
Wow. Calling pre-foreclosures. So owes $189,000. What is their monthly payment? Do you know?
He wasn't sure what it was. I told him to make sure he has his statement in front of him when you call.
Sweet. Okay. So guys, so now we put a range in, right? So she said 400, 440. If we just do this, and honestly, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna make it look a little higher. Or do you think it could go higher than that, or is that like the absolute max?
I think it possibly could. The duplex that's right next to it was remodeled like in 2018 and sold last year for 480 or something like that.
So Casey, because the next question is, like, what is this guy kind of hoping for when you kind of negotiated? What does he have a price in mind?
Yeah, he was thinking like 360, and he said he had gotten offers from other wholesalers for that, but I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah, do you think it's over? Probably at least, is it a full gut, you said?
I think so, yeah. I actually went and looked at it, and yeah, it needs a lot of work.
Okay. How about, like, do you have a rough estimate for what you think it would cost? What, just back of a napkin, what would you guess?
This is the first one I would be doing, so that would be really rough, but it's only 850 square feet, so I was thinking like 50,000.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think that's probably a good guess. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna put in 100K, right? For now, to build in plenty of margin, because we want to build in plenty of cushion, and also we want to build in some profit into this. So 100K. So now let's go in here. So you said 360. So guys, so now we look at these numbers. This is where we play with this variable, because now based on this, he gets 282, because this automatically calculates the loan amount plus his profit share based on him getting 80%, us getting 20. Okay. So this only gets him up to 328, right? So that's where, you know what, what if we go 90%? So now he's getting up over 300. And this is kind of where I would probably pitch it. But here's the thing, guys, we're working in our profit here into this number. And back to the question just a second ago, like, well, what happens in an uncertain market? Well, let's go look at our break even, guys. Our break even is going to be the loan amount plus the rehab, holding costs, and closing costs. So as long as we could sell that thing for 323, guess what? We actually still get our profit, because we're going to work in a little bit of profit into this number, right? That's the beautiful part about this. So, I mean, probably we're going to have to be in a world crisis for this house to go for 323. You agree, Casey, if it's fixed up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So guys, anyway, that's how I underwrite this quickly. And as you guys can see, it doesn't take very long. We just needed this number. We needed obviously the loan amount, and then we had to kind of put some comps in here. So yeah, let's give him a shout. I'm ready.
Okay. Should I send you the number?
You can, you can read it out loud. Yeah, why don't you just read it out loud? That'll make it easier.
720-401-7181.
Okay, all right. Oh, you know what? In the future, because I record these, we'll probably just put them in the chat, and then they won't be shown. But okay. But you're totally fine. We'll edit that. Okay. What was the name?
Michael.
Cool. All right. Hey, Michael, this is Casey Gregerson. Give me a shout. Hey, so I'm the other Casey. I heard you were talking to Casey Brown about the property. Yeah. Did she tell you I was going to give you a quick call? I wanted to see if we could help you out, talk some numbers.
Yeah, she did.
Cool, man. Awesome. Well, this is, I don't know if she told you this, but this is exactly these type of deals where you've got good equity, a lot of equity, but the house needs work. This is exactly what we look for, because I've got in-house contractors, and we're always looking for fix and flips. But the nice thing is you got equity. So that allows us to honestly get you more money out of the house. But anyway, can I care if I walk you through the numbers and kind of see if this could be helpful?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Cool, man. First off, are you living in the house?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And if we were to go in and do all the renovations, do you have a place to go, or family or friends or somebody?
Best I could do is I have to move to a hotel, motel or something.
Got it. Or a rental or something. A rental would probably be better than a hotel, huh? Because I'm talking like a couple of months while we would go and fix this thing. Or I guess what's your plan? Are you planning to move out of Denver, or where are you planning to move once you sell it?
It's kind of up in the air at this moment, so I don't really know. But you say it's better to get a rental. Then you have to pay off first months, last months, and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would probably cost more than just renting a motel or hotel for a month or so.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Well, I can help you out. There might be some options where if we help you out with first and last months, we can. But yeah, hold on. Let me make sure. Okay. Yeah, we could potentially help you out there. But sounds like we just got to figure out where you could go. Yeah, because let me explain this one to you, Michael. So the way it would work is, because I can always give you two options, right? And I'm sure the other Casey mentioned that too. Like, we can give you the cash offer, but man, our cash offer is going to be like, it's going to be really low. And I honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. We can always do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. But what I'm thinking we could do is, the way I could pay you a lot more money for this house and get you potentially over 300. I know you're hoping to get somewhere above that. The way I do it is I go in and I fix the house up. Right, I'm gonna go, and this is a big job. I know, like me and Casey talked about it. It's probably a full gut, and once we go in and gut it and we fix it all up, then when we sell it, then we pay you, so that's when I make my money, and then that's when you get paid. Literally at the same day, we get paid at the title company. Does that make sense how that would work? We're basically partners in the property.
So how much would I give if you gut it?
Yeah, so that's where I want to share like it's kind of like a little table. I just built it in Excel, and this is just how we do all our deals, but it kind of walks you through, because if I got my numbers right, you owe about $189,000. Is that what the loan is now, plus the arrears?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm estimating 189. And then I got my rehab then basically I would get paid back my rehab, which I gotta be conservative on it. Right now I'm penciling in 100,000, which probably seems high, but I gotta be careful, and I gotta make sure I have enough cushion, and I gotta make sure it makes sense. So that's there. And then there's a holding cost. What you're asking for, long story short, you're actually going to get 90% of the profit on the back end. And then, because I want to get you as much as I possibly can, because you mentioned wanting to be over 300 and get over there. So basically, I think if we could sell this thing for between 460 to 500, I could get you somewhere between, again, it all depends on what we sell the house for, right? And I'm going to share this table with you, but I could see you getting all the way up to close to 345, 350 on the house, and maybe more. But go ahead.
I could sell it right now for that and do nothing. You see
Um,
what I'm saying? I got somebody that offered me that much already.
how much did they offer you?
Well, I've got a few offers, but believe me, one of them is that much, and one is more. So I don't think I want to go through all them problems just to come up with 350.
Yeah.
I could just sell it and walk away doing nothing.
Yeah.
Not staying in a motel or none of that.
Oh, 100%.
I understand what you're saying. But
Okay, you're tracking. Well, you know what, Michael, I hear where you're coming from. And I'll be honest with you, Michael, I don't want to lead you astray. If somebody will pay you $350 cash, I think you should do that all day. Like, I wouldn't pay $350 cash. Is, to me, just being honest with you, I hope you get it, but if somebody's doing that, they don't know what they're doing based on how much work that house needs.
That I beg to differ. They know what they're doing because they're just like you. They flip them, and I know the other guy. I know him personally. And that I don't know. I don't know how you do your numbers or whatever. But I do construction myself. I've been doing it for 30, 40 years, and this house doesn't need gutting. I mean, the one we own both of them, and the one next door was not gutted. It was just some changes made.
Okay.
They tore out a wall. A part of the wall. They moved the hot water heater. They put in air conditioning. And then they redid the bathroom. They put on windows. But man, the only part they didn't really get nothing. I'm just letting you know. And so now that thing's worth like $480 right now, or maybe more. Last time I talked to the people that just bought it, I think it was worth $480. With those changes, but nobody. When you say gutting, gutting means you like coming in, tearing out all the whole plaster. In my opinion, like I say, I've been doing this construction, drywall painting, and framing and so forth since I was like 20 years old, and I'm 70 now, and it doesn't need that. I mean, I'm just, in my opinion, if I was flipping this, if I wanted to do that work myself, I wouldn't gut it. I mean, I'd tear out. But basically stay pretty close to what they did next door. I mean, that's all it needs. The house it needs a carpet, it needs kitchen floor, tile, whatever you want to do, bathroom, tear out the bathtub, put in whatever you want, toilets, sinks, but windows, all that, yeah. Other air conditioning, yeah, you can do that, So I'm just telling you what I think and what I know. And I've been messing with people that do what you do. I've been messing around because I got pushed into a situation where the house was going to be foreclosed on if I didn't come up with the money, to stop the foreclosure. So during that time, I've talked to plenty of guys and people. And, the lowest that was ever bid to buy it was $290, and that guy was just, I don't know what he never could get this for $290 from me anyway. And the highest that I've been offered was $375, and the reason I haven't taken it now is because I came up with the cash to pay all the back the money I owed them was behind with the mortgage company. So it's not up for auction anymore, foreclosure and none of that. So that's why I haven't taken those offers, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might fix it myself and then sell it for, $480 myself.
Got it.
I just don't know.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to cut you off, but you're the third person that offered to do that kind of, and sell it. But what they were going to give me was higher than your $350 or whatever you said. But that's all. I understand that's a fair price to you, and that's all that counts. You know, you don't have to have this property, so you can go down the street and buy another one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I don't, like I said, I've been messing with people that fix, flip, and give you cash and all that for 3 miserable months. Not so much for the people being miserable. Some of them, yeah, are miserable. They shouldn't be doing what you guys do because they suck, you know, with their attitude, and whatever. So, but I wouldn't be going to just give up like $350. I mean, you know, I wouldn't do it for that anyway.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. This is really helpful to kind of know all you're at, all those different variables. Yeah.
I kind of, only thing Casey didn't know, well, she knew that I got it out of foreclosure. So, but you know, other than that, she pretty much knew. She didn't know whether I was going to stay or go. So I was still up in the air.
Got it. Okay.
And so she just wanted me to talk with you to see if what you're saying was something I might want to get involved with, you know. And you got a good idea, a good plan. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You, I don't think I would be gutting it. I mean,
well, that's what I was going to say, Mike, is if the scope is not gutting it, yeah, that's potentially another 50,000 that could have put in your pocket, right? So basically, if I got you up closer to 400,000, then it would that start to make more sense?
Yeah, it would. But then, like I said, like some of my family said that I ought to just keep it and we do the work because, you know, I got.
Do you have the money to do all the work? You got all the cash?
I could come up with it right now. I could get a loan. Yeah, I could get the cash.
Okay.
And a lot of the work, I got family that does concrete and all kind of stuff, puts in windows. So I've helped them, so they would help me. What I'm saying is I might pay for the windows, but the total labor on stuff like the windows, I wouldn't be paying for. I mean, not totally. They, of course, I give them something, but as I said, through the years, I've done many projects for them.
Okay.
For nothing, you know, drywall paint and framing and all things like that. So, yeah, I could work it out, you know, like I said. I mean, like I said, that's what I do.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I do construction.
Okay. Well, let's do this, Michael. Let's stay in touch. I'm going to have the other Casey. We're going to stay in touch. And if you, I agree. If you can do all this work yourself and you can go and you got the funds to do it, yeah, you don't need somebody like us. Where we were good with some people who are like, I just need to get out and I don't want to do the work and I'm tired and I just want to move on, but I don't want to go through the hassle of fixing, flipping. So if things change, right? I know situations change. We'll probably, is it okay if me or Casey follow up with you and see what you, just in case you don't end up selling it to somebody else?
Oh yeah, anytime. And if I'm gonna just sell it, I mean, I'll let you know. I mean, you can have to keep you at the top of the list for people that may want to buy it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I have a couple people, like my friend, he does what you do. So if he wants, I'll put your name. Oh, you can call anytime. I've told Casey that.
Okay.
When she came by, so I'm sure you can call anytime and see where I'm at with it. You know, I mean, what I'm gonna do or whatever.
Okay.
I can also just keep you in mind that you might want to buy it. You know.
Yeah.
If I decide to sell or whatever, I'll just definitely let you know. You know?
Okay.
But I won't sell it before I let you know. You know
awesome. That sounds perfect. Just like Casey the other Casey, and me and her will work on it together.
Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome, Michael. Have a great day.
Okay. We'll see you.
Okay. See ya. Bye. Okay. Cool. So yeah, you just never know. And that one's, I mean, obviously that one's a little bit of a long shot, but I'm telling you, a lot of you guys already know this. That deal will circle back around. Like, yeah, of course. He was behind on his mortgage and all that, and it's no one else's fault. It's all somebody else's fault, right? But inevitably, a lot of these people will find themselves back unfortunately, they'll find themselves back in the same situation. And that's why it's important that we pitched him on that and we built credibility, and Casey's been doing the follow-up. So yeah, I would keep a close eye on that one, Casey, because yeah, if he could, yeah, he's full of it, right? If he could sell it for 400 right now, he would, but obviously he hasn't.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. He said he had multiple offers for that, and it's like that might be what it's actually worth on the market, but not for cash offers.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, cool.
All right, well, thank you.
No, that's a good one. And it's a good example, guys, of of just making these revive method offers. You got to make a bunch of them. So anyway, and it's all the follow-up, right? All our deals, it's all in the follow-up. So good one. Okay, I'm gonna go to the chat really quick. Thanks, Casey. And then yeah, Valerie, you are next to work your deal. But let me just hold on. Did anybody have any other questions on that one? I know that guy. The blessing and the curse is you get people who just wanna, I'll be better about cutting them off on the next call. He went for a while. And hopefully, did it get better once he started talking a little louder, or could you not hear? Okay, you guys could hear enough at least. Okay, cool. Yeah, Band-Aid. Okay, cool. If you guys, okay, good. I'm glad it got better. All right.
Casey, cool. I can't text them, so I can't put in the chat bar for some reason.
That's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, fire away.
No, it's just not letting me type, so I was gonna. Yeah, I put in, if he went into foreclosure, why don't, and you have enough money to renovate the house? Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, why'd you let it go to foreclosure?
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Oh, good. You bet. Okay. All right. Let's go with Valerie. You still on here? I know you had a deal.
There we go. Maybe you can hear me now.
Gotcha.
How you doing? Thanks for being on here and for what you're doing, Casey. I have a couple of things. So the first one is I actually I have this agent who's been very helpful. We have a seller who's looking to do a deal with us. The only thing is this I'm trying to figure out how to get the seller to cooperate, because the agent is trying to explain to them how sub 2 works and all of that, because they're in another state. So, but their fear is the due on sale clause. So we've been talking back and forth and trying to convince them, that if there's options, if that comes up, things of that nature. I wanted your thoughts on that. And then I have another deal. This guy actually wanted an outrageous price for his house. He owes a ton of money still. His interest rate is, I don't see it as a deal. This is the one I was saying, it sounds like a problem to me. I wouldn't know what to do with it. His interest rate is like 9+, and he owes $776,000. Yeah. So I was like, dude, I don't think I can help you, but I just thought I would bring it to the table to see what you thought about it. And I can give you the address so you can look it up.
Yeah. Go for it.
It's 7705 Calcutta Run, CalcuttarRun, and it's Leander, but it's probably going to come up as Jonestown, Texas, 78645.
All right. Okay, Calcutta. 7 3 7s and a 5.
No, 7705.
05.
And then Calcutta is Calcutta.
Okay, I got it. Ooh, wow, it's nice.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's showing like as an apartment building. It's a house, so I don't know why it shows like that on Zillow. But in prop, you can see that it's a single family home.
And I'm just looking at the part of Texas that's in.
Yeah, Leander's about maybe 30 minutes from Austin, so it's a prime spot. But I don't know. And the value is, from what I can tell, is 1.1 million. So when you look at those things, it makes me think there might be something that we could do with it. But not sub 2 wise and not cash wise. So I don't know what to do with it.
Do you know what he owes on it?
Yes, he just clarified that for me this morning. He said the payoff was good until December 1st. Let me bring it up. Yeah, let me give you these numbers. What's crazy is this guy was arguing with me to begin with. In the front end, he was like, oh, we're not going to give away our property for free. And I was like, all right, good luck. And then he called me back. He's like, here's my payoff. What would your terms be? $776,377.
And his payment is
$6802.44.
$6802.
Yeah, and his interest.
And that's no taxes, right?
No, this must be taxes, because I thought he was around 5 something, and his interest rate is actually higher than I thought it was. It's 9.5%.
9.5. No, that's got to be just looking at that payment.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Well, either way, that's super high. So yeah, you're right. It's like, okay, so the sub 2 is no good because it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It's just the question is like, what price was he wanting to get out of it? Does he have a price other than what he's listed at?
I mean, initially he was looking for something over 900 grand, but he said his payoff, his amount is 776,377. So I'm assuming he's waiting for me to tell him this is what we can give you. He's waiting for my response, but I don't see what we could give him on either way. I mean, either way, I don't know what to do with this. So
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot there. I would probably just make him a cash offer for around his loan amount,
right.
but I don't even know there. And then if
Yeah, I don't know how would you dispo that? I mean, is someone gonna want to pick that up? You know?
Yeah, it's cheap enough. Yeah, this is a hard person to help because they got a higher interest rate. They've got no equity. It's just really hard to help them. So, but you can keep in mind in case they do get really motivated, and maybe if they're all of a sudden got to dump it and you can get it for $776 and turn around and sell it for $800 or something. I don't know, make a quick wholesale fee.
Okay.
Because you need to sell it to a retail buyer. This needs to be an end buyer. This property should be on the market, but obviously it's just overpriced.
Right.
Good
Okay.
question.
So if all he owes is this 776, if that's a true number, because I did my diligence when I first looked at it, he had 2 big loans. He's telling me that the other one is paid, but I don't know that for sure yet. So I'm going off of just what he's telling me. But if I did give him a cash offer and someone happens to pick this up, I guess that would be the exit.
Yeah, it'd be a tricky exit too. I wouldn't want to close on this. I would try to double close it. I would say if all of a sudden he becomes really motivated, but it's hard because he's on the market, right? But potentially if you could find a pocket buyer or somebody you knew that was looking in this area and you were able to secure it at 776, but very, very, very long shot.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But I don't know. But if it's, and it doesn't look like there's much value add because it looks like a nice house.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know what happened there, but I think I'm gonna, probably pass on it. Okay. And I guess my other girl, I mean, she's trying to convince her seller. I don't know what else we could tell them besides that they have options if the due on sale is called. I mean, the sub 2 would work really well for them. They have a great rate, and
we can call that one. I mean, I don't mind. I've talked through the sub 2 contingencies quite a few, and I've been through it. I could actually. You want me to try to give them a call?
Sure, you can call her. Let me see here.
Can I get that address as well?
Yes, it's 1429 Freer Cove, Freer CB.
Okay. Leander too?
Yeah. Her fair market value is about 619, and they were asking 569. We were going to give them 554, but on sub 2 or VS2.
What's the loan amount?
510. 510.8, so roughly 511.
Okay. And just doing the math on them based on being at 569, assuming that they're paying, there's not much left here as far as cash they're going to get. So.
Right. Her rate is 3.5.
Okay, so if I put times by the time they play closing costs, they're looking at 529 and they owe 510. So there's little left in there, but it's 3% rate. So yeah, that one's worth calling, I think for sure. And she's just like, what happens on due on sale, basically.
Yes. So okay. I've been speaking to the agent, who is Sherry, and she's been talking to her seller. She's been really helpful, and we're going back and forth. She was going to set up a call for us to talk with the seller, but we haven't heard back from her yet on that.
Okay. So, you know what? That actually might be better. I would love, we need to talk to the seller too, because if not, we're playing the telephone game and the agent's never going to be able to deliver it like we can. So you know what? I'm going to be on here for another hour. You might just say, hey, is there any chance your seller? But if not, even if I got a busy day tomorrow, but even if it's Sunday, or sometime next week, I'd be happy. And then we'll record it and I can share it with the rest of Problems to Profits.
Okay, that would be awesome. I suppose you want to send me your direct?
Yeah, there you go. Or hit me, guys, and I'll just put it for everybody in here. If everybody has, you can get, Instagram's the best. Instagram. That's the best way. Just send me a direct message and then I'll we'll get in touch there. And then we can get on a call or whatever. I'll give you guys my email too, but Instagram's usually the best. I'll put my email in here too. And then if somebody's watching this recording again, if you guys go to problemstoprofits.com, it takes you right to actually my website and you guys can get my contact info on there if somebody's watching this later.
I didn't see it. Did you put it in there?
Oh, did I? Oh, I sent it to the waiting room. Okay, my bad. Somehow got okay. Everyone in the meeting. Here we go. Okay, and then I got Larry. You're up next, but let's work on this one. I'm sending it right now.
Okay.
Valerie.
I'll call her and see if she's available, and if not, I'll let you know when we get him on the phone.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. Good one. I like the second one for sure. All right. Go ahead. Is Larry still on? If not, well, Larry's the next. Larry, and then Melissa. I know Melissa. I think you had one too, right? If you got one, I'm happy to jump on that. Okay, Larry's good to go. All right, Larry. If you're gonna come out, you need help getting off mute? Here, I can unmute you myself, I think. Oh, there you go. Well, we can't hear you. You're off mute now. No worries. Any other questions? Let me go back into the chat while we're doing this. Mike made a good point about that first one. If you could short sell it to an end buyer, that's not a bad idea. And honestly, based on that mortgage amount, but they still got a little equity. They really just need to drop the price if they really want to sell it because they've got some room. Cool. You bet. Thanks, Valerie.
Can I ask a quick question about your spreadsheet?
Yeah,
that you
absolutely.
did? So you had holding cost on there, $6. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's typically like how many months I try to put in, like, and then it should be a equation. So then I figure if my mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance are $1,000 a month, then yeah, I'll multiply it by 6.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Appreciate you looking into it. Cool. Hey, if you get it, Larry, just let us know. But in the meantime, while we're waiting on Larry, Francisco, you still on? You had a deal, I know. And Mike, Mike raised his hand a long time ago. Mike, what time did we schedule those calls? Did I already miss it?
No, we've got the condo in Bloomington, Minnesota is anytime this morning. I sent off the LOI about an hour ago. So he's probably, and I let him know you'd be calling. So that's a seller directly to the seller. So and he's the older guy we talked about. And I made the offer the way we talked about this morning. And I copied you on the email to him. So you've got the LOI in your inbox. And then the Revive method, I spoke with her a little bit ago. She's got some time at 11 o'clock Pacific time. So 1 o'clock Central is where she is. She said she's going to have a closing. She's wrapping up. She'll be available at 1. So that's an hour from now.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Sweet.
Yeah. So I've got the information on the condo with the older guy. I'm going to shoot. I just sent you a message to your in your chat, just directly to you with the Zillow link and the phone number.
Oh, sweet. All right. Awesome. Okay. Sounds good. And then, yeah, we'll call the other one here at the top of in an hour from now.
Yeah. And this one, James is his name. Like I mentioned earlier, he's pretty frail. So just, be gentle.
I will. All right. Cool. Okay. So did Francisco, you still on? You might have had to jump as well. And then Corey, I know Corey, was yours ready to call yet, or are we still waiting on them?
Yeah, they haven't responded yet.
No worries. Good news is, guys, I've got other deals you can call. Actually, and then Mike, I'm going to either go to my other No One Left Behind team, is there any other leads in our pipeline you think we should call before then, Mike? You know what? Actually, let's call James first. But you know what? While I'm calling James, Mike, if you want to tee up any other further ones, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll go take a look.
Casey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Did you want to call that lead? I tried calling last night and got the voicemail twice. It's a hybrid, but the comps I get for it are like 1.6, 1.7. Even though they have it listed for 1.9, they got about 1.3 on the mortgage at 2.8%, and so it'd be a hybrid. And I haven't made contact with the agent yet. I found that last night.
That's okay. What's the address?
It is 2820 Cistern, Sisteron Court, Henderson, Nevada. I can put it in the chat.
There it is. Yeah.
You got it?
Up. Yeah. Okay, cool. So listed there in Henderson. Okay. And so it'd be hybrid. Sorry, how much did you say they owe?
About $1,244,000 it says on prop stream.
Okay. And have you talked to him yet, or the agent yet?
Nope.
Okay. Got it. Cool. Yeah. I mean, we can give this one a shout. You're just thinking, you're just curious. You'd love to see how I pitch the hybrid, huh? Sure. All right, let's try it. And then Mike, we'll go to James after this. Appreciate it, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you for the education today. I'm glad I jumped in this.
You bet. Hey, and anybody else, we got the next hour. So to call any leads you guys want, any problems, or if you guys just have general problems about, hey, what would you do here or there, just let me know. All right, let's give this one a shot. Oh, and then the agent is listed, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna call her. So as you guys know, most stuff on Zillow, it'll list the agent's number, which, yep, we got it, 206.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Oh, this is the one you said she won't answer, huh?
Yeah, it went to voicemail like that last night.
Okay, I'm going to send her a quick text and see if what kind of an agent goes right to voicemail. Come on. All right. So Maria.
Is that a 568 number you have for it?
Yeah, I did 206-979-550-51.
The office number is 702-568-6800.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can try that. You give me the office number one more time?
702-568-6800.
Here's the Zillow listing so you guys can follow along.
Simply Vegas, how may I direct your call?
Sorry, I gotta find her name again. Is Maria Santos available? We tried her or we think it's her cell phone, but we can't get a hold of her.
I see. Well, she's not in the office, and so let's verify the number that you have.
206 706-979-5051.
It's 706.
That's part of the problem. 706-979-5051.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Well, that probably, and that's good. I was going to tell her to correct it, but then a bunch of other people might actually start calling on this. So,
Right.
Good job. That's the way to take a little farther and work it through. Or,
Yeah, for everybody else, you can always go double check PropStream on their MLS details. It's got the agent's number and office numbers down there usually.
And April, your short sale lead. We could definitely talk about that one. Anybody else pop in the chat? And if I don't see it, send it in again. I never ignore any deals. I always respond.
Please leave your message for.
Okay, that's all right. We're gonna now. Luckily,
Now you can
wait.
fix that.
Now she's saying she replied yes to the wrong number. I wonder if she's just messing with me.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
No way these people have the same number. Okay. All right, we're gonna see if Maria maybe she'll text us back. So 706.
Yeah, I'm heading up to Scottsdale tonight for the Bash Brothers meetup.
Nice. I'm jealous. That'd be fun.
Okay. Usually.
All righty. Sweet. So let's go over to, while we're waiting on her to reply, I'm gonna go over to this lead that we're working, guys, in Minnesota that Mike brought up. So his name is James. This is a serious problem, right? I probably said that wrong. This is a unique problem. So James is an elderly guy. Sounds like he wants to get to a single story house, and he's got his new house identified, but he needs, I think, what is it, Mike? $133,000 to buy the new house.
133 place he's selling, he owns outright.
But he owns it free and clear. So I think he's open to seller finance, but he's
not open. He according to him, he's not open to seller finance. He does not understand it. He really wants a cash deal, but that's the rub. So we got to help him get his head around seller finance.
That's right. He wants seller finance. He just doesn't know it yet. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And
cool.
you've got
Let's
the
try
ROI
it.
in your inbox if you want to look at the numbers.
Cool. And guys, I might share this as I'm talking so you guys can follow along and watch it. But let's see if we can get a hold of him first, because I have a feeling it's gonna go slow. And I'll try to share my screen. Is Ernie on, by the way? If you're on and you want to tee up some deals for me on the No One Left Behind challenge, please do. I don't know if I've seen Ernie today though.
Hey, are you using the CRM that Myron built for your LOI blaster?
Yeah, I'm using the Google Sheet, basically.
Well, no, he's got the Blast CRM that it doesn't limit you. It's got a dialer in it, it sends out emails like Mail Meteor. Because right now I can only send like 20 emails from mine right now. I'm gonna get that because it removes all the limits. You can send 500, you can send 1,000 a day.
Got it.
And it's purposely built to go with the LOI blaster. So I'm just getting back into it. I was away for a little while. But I gotta get in the shower in about 10 minutes to make it up there by 3 o'clock. I gotta take like 4 buses from Gilbert here. So I'll be back next week. Appreciate you.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate it, Larry. Yeah, if she does, I text her. If they call back, we'll keep it recording.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, sounds good, man. Okay, so I'm gonna text our buddy James. He didn't pick up.
He didn't pick up when I called, but he called me back last time when I contacted him. But he said that is a good number for texting.
It is good to know. Okay.
And he has not replied to my email with the LOI in it yet.
Okay. Good to know. April, we can go to you next. I'm just going to send this text. I'm calling about the house. Okay. All right, April. And then, sorry, before I call that, Cynthia, Casey, will you buy in Sunset District in San Francisco if the seller does? Yeah, absolutely, Cynthia. We could look at that one. I don't know myself specifically, but I could potentially find a partner. And I know a couple SDR people in San Francisco that are crushing it, so they'd probably be interested. Let me know if you want to dive into that one. All right, April, let's try this one. So 4032 in Phoenix. Seller wants 300. Okay, we got the number and everything. Sweet. So April, you're just thinking it's a short sale. Oh, it's a hard money lender. Okay. And that is, so the number, that's the agent. Okay. Yeah. Shoot, I'll just start navigating. I'll just jump in. Feel free to keep popping some updates in there and I'll read them as I call them. 688-6804. All right, moving across the nation. Let's hop down to Phoenix, Arizona.
Hello?
Hey, this is Casey Gregerson. Do you go by Dulce or what do you go by?
Yeah, how can I help you?
I'm just calling about the property in Phoenix, the one you have listed. You had the listing, right? At 4032 North 80th?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Do you have a quick, yeah, I wanted to see if we could help on this one. I know it sounds like it's potentially underwater, and you assume you guys are looking for some sort of solution.
I'm sorry. What's the question?
Yeah, I guess you guys got it. I'm just pulling it up now too. So I actually was working with another one of my partners. She kind of flagged this property as a potential buy. So I'm an investor, but I mean, are you guys, assume you're the listing agent, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Have you got, I guess I'm assuming, hold on, I'm just pulling it back up too. I just wanted to see a couple things online on it. How many, just 1 second. Okay, so you guys okay, this one you just listed. Okay. Because I was just looking at the balance. I guess that's what I was probably worried about. Did your seller happen to share like how much they owe on the house?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Do you know how much the seller owes on the house? Because I was what?
Payoff that's at like 310.
310. Okay. All right. So they owe, and that's why I kind of brought up short sale, right? So if they owe 310, and I'm jumping right in. I just want to be helpful. I could tell you're probably, I don't want to waste your time. If they owe 310 and you guys are listed at 325, they can, they're barely going to be able to pay commissions. It looks like, right? Or are they ready to bring money to closing?
Ready money to closing. At 325, everything works.
Okay, got it. Okay, but it looks like the house needs some work, huh? Because do you feel like this is a good fix and flip if you fixed it all up?
Yes, it needs repairs.
Got it. Okay, did they happen to share, I know the payoff's 310. Do you know what their interest rate is? Or their
12%.
What's that?
12% or higher.
Ooh, I heard it was hard money. Okay, and do you know what that monthly payment is, roughly?
Like 1,900 interest only.
Okay, 1,900. Okay, interest only. That's helpful. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Have you looked? If we fix this thing up, what do you think this thing would be worth?
You will have to do your own research.
Okay, you haven't pulled any comps on what you think it might work, what the ARV might be?
Everybody has a different opinion. If you're an investor, you should know, right?
Yeah, but I like talking to agents. Sometimes, honestly, I'll use my agent to, like this, I'll use you to list it on the back end when we go to flip it. That's why I just like seeing how other people look at numbers. Yes, I know how to run the ARV quickly, but I haven't done it on this one yet.
Yeah.
Have you,
It could be 400,000 or more.
Okay, got it. I'll just be straight up and kind of blunt and to the point on this one. I think the only way it works is if we could take over that hard money loan and go fix and flip it ourselves, and then I guess at least your buyer would be off the hook and they wouldn't have to. I'm assuming that hard money loan is eating them alive right now at 19. Were they trying to flip it or what were they trying to do?
No, they're owner-occupied primary residence.
Oh.
They should have never been given that loan.
Oh. Got it. Okay, so they were given it by almost predatory lending, sounds like. Okay, and they couldn't afford the payment. Got it. Yeah, it's tough. The only other, have you talked to the lender? Has anybody talked to the lender about a short sale potentially?
I haven't talked to the lender, but this is a hard money loan. If it was a regular conventional FHA loan, short sales are common. You can postpone the sale date, but this is a hard money loan.
Got it.
So
are they?
They don't work with people.
So they're probably ready to take the house back, huh? And just take it over?
I can't speak for that person. But
yeah, I would assume.
Lenders are hardcore.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably what they're planning to do. That's what I'm just wondering if it's worth a conversation with them. Because if it's a hard money lender who's a fix and flipper, then maybe they want to take it back. But also some hard money lenders don't want to be doing the operation. So I would love to help out, but what I would want to do is be able to talk to the hard money lender and see if there was something, like, even if it's not a short sale, even if it's us taking over payments. Yeah, I'd love to have the conversation. What would you be able to facilitate that, or should we talk to the seller about making an introduction to their hard money lender, or what do you think?
I really don't understand what you guys are trying to do, and this is like the third phone call, and I'm really getting annoyed, to be honest, because I really don't know what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, so I'll clarify for you.
It's straightforward. You want the house, make an offer at 325 in order to make it to work.
Yeah, we're not buying this house at 325, to be clear, right? And if you have a 325 offer, then you should for sure take it. But what our aim is, I'm a fix and flipper, right? So if I can get into a house with low money down and I could just put my money into the renovation, that's how I can make money on a flip, right? Because then I don't have to go finance 325 and tie up all that cash, right? Even though it's 12%, if I go borrow from a private money lender or a hard money lender, I'm probably going to pay 12%. So So that's why I'm just trying to figure out, all right, maybe I could be the solution to the problem and go flip the house and help get your seller off the hook. And again, I could use you as a listing agent on the back end, potentially.
I mean, send a proposal in writing, but I'm tired to talking to somebody and not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
If you put it all in writing, send a contract, then I can work with that. But I'm not gonna go and work for something that I don't even know what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. So I guess what I'll put in writing is I'd like to get on a phone call, and you don't have to be on it. I mean, I would prefer just to talk directly to the hard money lender. I mean, are you able to get that information from the seller, their hard money lender's contact info?
I mean, if you send a contract, I'm obligated to send it to the seller.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so typically I wouldn't send a contract at this point because we don't know if the hard money lender's going to work. I mean, would it be okay if I just talk to your seller? I could tell you probably don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. Can I just talk to them?
Probably not. Like, why would I make contact? Like I said, put something in writing. Let's not go in circles. Whatever your proposal is, your letter of intent, or whatever you're trying to do, and then I can present it.
Okay, that's a good idea. The LOI is a good point. We could send the LOI, and within my LOI, I'm going to make the request to be able to talk to the hard money lender. So, okay, well, thank you. I appreciate your time and help on this one.
Thank you. No problem.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. Thanks. All right. Agent of the year goes to Dulce Matus Soto. Wow.
I would say that. The auction is December 5th. I don't know why she's playing hardball like that.
Oh, say it again.
The auction is December 5th.
Oh,
5th of December.
Wow, it's even better. Okay. Wow.
She's afraid she's
okay.
going to lose her commission.
Yeah.
But she does.
Yeah.
She's not going to get one.
Yeah. And it's like, I was really biting my tongue not to say something really smart ass at the end. But anyway, I figured, you know what? Let's not burn that bridge just yet. Okay. Be patient. But you're right. So, I mean, I would give that a shot and just send her an LOI and say, hey, but in the LOI say, my offer is $310, which is the loan amount, and she has to share it with them, and I could take over your payments like before the foreclosure date and say, but to do this, I need to talk to the hard money lender. But I don't know. It's hard to know if there's enough room in the deal to go fix it up. But who knows? This might be a good wholesale too. It's down in Phoenix, and I know people crush it with the wraps and stuff down there. If you could find somebody who doesn't have great credit, but who could go fix it up, and maybe they could refinance it and they could step into 12% loan, and then maybe you make $10,000 assigning it to that person. Or maybe you don't make anything until they go refinance and they pay you back later and you just put the deal together. That could be another cool creative strategy. Okay, William, I saw your question earlier. So the PML, good question, William. My PML is typically, I didn't put it on there specifically, but that is just going to be the rehab amount. And I see what you're saying. I didn't put in like maybe 12% of the payments, but I'm working in a big enough margin in there that there's, like, even on a lot of these deals, let's just do some easy math, okay? So I'll just do it here. All right, so let's just say that on one of those deals, it's 100K rehab. I'll put this down here if you guys can still see my screen. All right, so if it's 100K, let's say we pay him 12%, right? That's 12K over a year, right? But we should be able to do this in a lot of these in 3 to 6 months, but let's call it 4 months. So let's divide that by 3. We're looking at 4K, but either way, it's about $1,000 a month. So 4K would be the cost of the private money lender. But I'm going to build in, like I said, I like to typically build in 50K into my rehab cushion budget. So it would definitely afford the 4K, but we could easily, if you're like Mike Van Maren, I bet you're going to go in and you're going to add that line in there to account for your private money lending cost. Right, but typically I look at it as if I put my own cash in, but you could, I try to work enough margin in there to where you could pay for a private money lender. And you know what? Sometimes the private money lender, it just really depends on the deal, right? I kind of look at what is the rehab budget. I mean, I'll tell you this. Another piece of that is if it costs me 50K as my cost, and then I'm going to build in 50K of profit, and it's 100K rehab, therefore, I might go to and this kind of ties back to Bowser at the beginning. He's like, do you pay yourself at the beginning? I think it was Bowser. He's like, do you pay yourself at the beginning? And the way I would pay myself at the beginning is, let's say that this deal is 50K is what it cost me, as I mentioned. So what I'll do is I'll go give myself a 20K fee, and therefore what I'll go get from my private money lender would be $70K. And granted, I didn't work in my holding costs. Maybe I do $75K. Well, how about that? Then I've got $5,000 of holding costs. I pay myself $20K in the beginning, and then I go borrow $75K at 12%. But anyway, so it's not in that spreadsheet, but it's that's exactly how I'd run it. Does that make sense? You bet, man. Good. Okay. All right. Thanks, Larry. See if I missed any other questions other than people ragging on that agent. But yeah, I would do that one and give it a shot. I would send them an LOI, April, and I would see if we can get a hold of the lender, because if the lender, and you just got to understand the lender's perspective. If it's their flipper, a lot of hard money lenders have fix and flip experience. They're like, I'm about to take this thing back and I'm not going to negotiate. Or maybe they would, maybe they'll take a little bit less, or maybe they'll just let somebody sub to it. A lot of kind of different options. But you would want to talk to the lender and be like, hey, and they're probably going to say, make an offer. But it's like, well, let's have a conversation to figure out if we can even help you on this, because I just don't want to shoot in the dark. But yeah, that's the big question, is what we could sell it for fixed up, like Michelle said. Yeah, or you just go get your own lender. You're totally right. So real cook, that's what I would do. That's the cleanest, easiest way, is just to go get your own loan and get that. And then they would short sale it. Like, and then guys, in order to negotiate a short sale, you've got to be able to buy it out and have your own lender or your own cash. All right, let me check and see if we got any text back. I'm just gonna try James again. Any other deals, you guys?
I just texted him, Casey, and no reply yet. So, and the 1 o'clock Mountain Time, she just texted me to see if she could do 2 o'clock. Are you available then?
Yeah, 2 o'clock Mountain.
Central. Sorry.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, that'll be good. I'll call her then.
Okay. I sent you an invite as well.
Okay, cool. All right. Any other deals, guys? You guys want to call? Anybody else? Any questions? Still growing strong. Still 40 people going strong. I love it.
You want another deal to call?
Yeah, if you got one ready, let's do it.
Well, I was going to say George in Cheyenne. You spoke with him a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I left him a voicemail just to follow up on that LOI that we sent over. So he's probably a good timing to another call into him. I was going to call him this afternoon, but if you want to, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's try George. That'd be a great one.
Yeah, I'll put in the chat his info.
Ernie, do you have any deals you want me to? I did see Ernie's on here. Ernie, you got anything, man? I could, if you want to let me know a couple of them that you think are good ones to call, we could do those as well. If not, here we go. 307.
I sent an LOI to George. Do you want that, or?
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt. That'd be great.
Let me just go see if I can find it. What's that address? That address is 2905 Reed.
Love it, Gabrielle. Working and listening.
Hello, and thanks for calling. I'm not able to take your call right now, but you're great.
George, yeah.
Okay, he just texted me too. He's tied up. Yeah, and then real quick, I guess I'm asking, how do we get around this agent that doesn't really care what happens to her seller? Oh, okay. Yeah. So we totally could, like, I don't know if PropStream lists that lender, but you know what? Lenders are there's a lot of restrictions, even I think laws on what they can disclose. So honestly, and you guys saw me ask her, I'm like, why don't you clearly don't want to take the time to talk to me. Can I just talk to your seller? So what I would do is, forget that lady. Go get a hold of the seller and be like, hey, your agent, not to tell her agent sucks, but I would say your agent is not helping. I would like to get on a 3-way call with your lender so I can help you. And honestly, man, forget the LOI. I would just do that. Like, that lady is creating friction. So I would just try to go around her. So I would totally get a hold of the seller and then try to get on a 3-way call. Good question. Real Cook, is that how you say your name, or is that your real first name? All right, love it.
Casey, I just sent you the link in Google Docs to the LOI for George.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, it looks like he's on a call now too. Cool.
It's
okay. Hey, Casey.
LOI. I got a little carried away.
Okay. Arian is one of our other team leaders. So I think I got an email on a possible novation from Ernie. So let me go pull this one up on my email. We'll work through a novation with you guys potentially if they answer. There it is. All right, Ernie, thanks for sending this. Open house. Okay.
Hey, Casey, real quick, the difference between a novation and the revived method, what's like short form answer? What's the biggest difference in that?
Yeah. Easy question, man, and a good one. So novation versus revive method. The only real difference is if you're going to make a lot of repairs and put in a significant investment in there, because when you do a novation, you're not protected as well. Because if you go put 50,000 in a novation and that guy like disappears, like you literally got to go sue him per performance. You can put a lien on a property, do some different stuff, but like if that guy disappears, it could be very difficult to recoup your money. Versus on revive method, we take the deed, right? We take over the loan sub 2, and then we pay the seller on the back end. So we kind of flip the roles, right? Now I own the property, he's got a lien, and basically I'll give them a promissory note or a mortgage. That way they're protected to when we sell the house, they get paid. So it gives us the control.
Okay, now that makes sense. So basically, like, it's pretty much explaining to them, I guess in a revived method, they don't have to know the moving parts as much as the sub 2 is concerned. Like if you're buying a house sub 2, the seller needs to understand X, Y, and Z's, all the disclosures and everything. And I don't know when that stuff is explained, if it's through a TC or if it's through you. But through a regular sub 2, I understand that. But when you go through the revived method, they're understanding most of the same stuff for the most part. Probably not as extensive, but just understanding no matter what's going on, you'll get your money when we get paid 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. But we'll have ownership of the property. That's all the biggest difference is, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's a much easier pitch, right? Because I think Mike could attest to this, and other people have seen it. Like when you're trying to pitch a sub 2 long term, people are a lot more skittish, right? But if you're just like, hey, I'm flipping this house, there's zero reason for me to go pay off this 3% loan if I'm going to flip it anyway. So yeah, but it's the same disclosure, same process, all the same paperwork you would do, yeah, on a sub 2 transaction. But people are just more on board for it.
But if they have to move or stay, I know like you were talking to the seller earlier, if they have to stay in a hotel for 3 or 4 months, or if they have another family member, or if you got to pay to move over here, whatever the case is, what's like some of the biggest problems or pushback that sellers going to have for a revived method that you've seen?
Yeah. The biggest hurdle, I think probably for sure, is where they're going to go, right? Like we're still fighting it with the one out in Seattle. Like the guy said he had places, but I'll be honest with you, more times than not, people can find somewhere, like they can go with friends and family, but that's one thing you got to pin down. And that's one of the first things I ask. They'd be like, hey, if I can do this, do you have somewhere you can move until you get the money? Because a lot of times they need that money, right? Or sometimes though, we'll give them some money up front, be like that one guy, if he'd been willing to play ball, that guy in Denver on the condo, I'd have been like, what if I give you $10,000 up front and he'll get your feet on the ground, right? So there are some situations we'll do that.
But mostly if it's like a little more equity to play with, huh?
Yeah, because if there's a bunch of equity, I'm going to get paid back either way, you know?
Gotcha.
Just a little bit more money. Just add us to the rehab, you know?
Okay. All right, appreciate you, man. Thank you. That was clear cut, man.
Yeah, you bet. I think that's the main. I'm trying to think of other hangups. Yeah, the other hangup, I mean, you just got to the key is really getting them to understand how much money they could possibly make. And then, I think the other one sometimes is the rehab budget, but I just tell them this is what it's got to be to make this make sense, right? Like I've got to build in some profit. I'm going to use my guys. I'm going to spend a bunch of time on this. And I just encourage them to focus on the total number they're going to get, right? How we get there and what the rehab is doesn't necessarily matter. It's just we're trying to get you the most money out of the property. Cool. This is the foreclosure where the owner is deceased. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending this one. I'm going to see if I can download this. Oh, all right, it worked. Thanks, Melissa. Melissa, right on time. Okay, in Corvallis, I like it. So it's going to sale in February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. We're going to short sale your house. All right, in Corvallis, loan amount 174, date recorded. Cool. And they deceased. Okay, what are the steps to purchase? All right. Ooh, I like this one. Okay, so it's got to go through probate. I have not actually thought through this thing fully, so this is me thinking on the fly. And if anybody else has done this, feel free to chime in. To me, the first step is figuring out who's the descendants of the deceased and how it's going to be passed down. Man, and it's worth $450. Ooh, I like it. So, and it's going to, yes, okay. All right. So Melissa, we got to figure out how far behind they are, because ideally you're going to have to catch it up to avoid the short sale. I mean, February 14th, unless you could try to wholesale this thing because it's at such a good loan amount. One option is you just wholesale it and somebody pays off the loan. It's a clean cut, done deal. It's just going to be a matter of getting clear title. So if the clear title and the probate process is going to take 6 months, this could actually work really well. And the way I would do it is I'd get a hold of the sellers, the seller's descendants, figure out what that process is, get them to sign the contract. Ideally, you get through probate by the time, before February 14th. I mean, There are some, I think we did this on one deal a while back where we basically had them sign the deed, but before we did this exact same thing, actually. It was going to go to foreclosure. It had been handed down from the deceased. We had them actually pre-sign the deed, and we had the attorney hold it. And then we wired money to the attorney to pay off the bank to catch everything up. That way we were kind of protected, because then it was just a formality of going through probate. And once it went through probate, we were able to get the deed signed, and then we sold and flipped the house. Was there a will? I do a lot of probates. Where was it recorded? Yeah, good. That's exactly the question. So probate judge can give permission to sell. Yeah, these are actually really good helps. Worth $450. Wait, I'm gonna come back to you, Michael. That's a good question too. But Melissa, yeah, probate versus will. Wow, this one's going. You guys are. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Is where the So Melissa, have you reached? And you know what? We get. I wonder if this is on our. How long ago were they deceased? Was this in the last month or 6 months? Because the reason I'm asking, for those of you guys who are actually do cold calling for me, I talked about the list at the very beginning of the call. One of the lists I give my students to call is a cold call, is a inherited data list. So we get all that. We might have this data. I'm gonna have to look for it. But we get all the. If somebody passes away, they go into the inherited data list, and then we get all the descendants information, their phone number, email, all that, and we start calling them. So that would be what I'd recommend, is we need to find these descendants, get in touch with them, and then if we can talk to them 100%, this thing could work. I like it. This is a good one. This is a really good one. So if you want, Melissa, do you want us to, my team could kind of help go, yeah, and I agree. Michelle's like, we could also skip trace. So anyway, Melissa, would that be helpful? You down for us to, let me research and see if I even just have it in my database, and if not, we'll try to go find these descendants and work this one. But you're right. I mean, guys, this is not going to be an easy deal, but there's some serious equity in here. Good old Corvallis, Montana. I like it. Okay, let me go back to the question from Michael. What do we do when they have an FHA partial claim on the back of the first loan? So there are no payments on the partial claim. Is there extra steps? Would we have to take? Oh, Michael, that is a great question. I have not seen anybody ask that. So let me summarize this for you guys. So there are always situations, I see this all the time, when a seller, they went and got some mortgage assistance or whatever happened during COVID. They basically got some deferral of, maybe say they couldn't make payments for 6 months. So they put $5,000 worth of payments on the back end of the loan. So if they owe $150 on their payoff, now their payoff is $155. And then often we'll take those over sub 2. So the cool thing is, no, I've never done any extra paperwork. I just literally, the title company will identify that, and it'll be part of all the title work when we close. But no, you'll just take over the same terms they have. But when you go to flip the house, or when you go to sell it as a rental 10 years down the road, you'll just pay off them like they would. The only thing you might want to double check is make sure you don't need to get a special third-party authorization on that, but typically the same lender does it. So, and here's what's unique, guys, is it doesn't even show up in their loan statement. And guys, our sellers get confused all the time, because they'll give us a payoff and their payoff says $150, and we start running numbers, and then the title goes and does a title search, and they see, oh, there's a $5,000 deferral loan on the back end of this. You got to pay that off too. So you won't really see that unless you go pull title, and it's always a surprise that pops up at the end. But hopefully, Michael, does that answer your question? You really would treat it the same, and we honestly, it's a very common thing in sales today. Yeah, good question. You bet, man.
I think Casey just bailed on us. That's funny.
From my experience, Mike, his computer might have died.
Oh, that might have been it.
I'll hop back in here once it pops back up.
Is that Clint? You're showing up as Casey too.
Maybe he was too tired to talk anymore.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that happen actually. So.
Okay, well, Casey's not on. Does anybody know? I can't seem to text in the chat box. It says, I guess, number of letters reached 3,433 of 1,000, and I can't comment in the chat box. Anybody know how to fix that?
Patricia, you might try Control A, select all, and delete, and see if that erases your character count.
Control A, and then delete. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Clint, what is it that you do on Casey's team?
Primarily run operations for him. So I met him 5 or 6 years ago and slowly started taking projects for him when he had a portfolio in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah.
He 1031 exchanged all those properties into Wyoming. So I just told him, if you ever need any help with anything else, just let me know. And that slowly transitioned to other projects. So my background's in marketing, sports marketing and management. I worked for Major League Baseball, Louisville Sluggers, some academies here in Texas. That's how Casey and I got connected about 5 or 6 years ago with his marketing side of it. Been a lot of fun, but primarily right now it's project management.
Would you be available just offline? I'd love to connect with you, a little bit more about that, as I'm working more and more with Casey and trying to figure out how the parameters on deals he wants.
Absolutely.
Just help me get a little bit more refined in my seller discussions.
Absolutely. Always down to help, and Voxer's a great place. If any questions come up in real time, I can help with.
Okay. All right. So if I got Voxer, are you already?
Yeah, Voxer, I can send you my number. I'll text you real quick.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks.
Of course.
My number's in my screen there. That's my cell. Are you Clint Hoberg?
No, I'm Clint Warren, but I'll text you here in a sec, Mike.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I think I found you.
All right, guys. It does look like Casey's still having computer issues. He says we're going to go ahead and wrap here, but I want to reach out to you guys. If y'all need his email or phone number, I'm going to put it here in the chat. Hopefully that'll help you get in contact with him, especially if you had a seller call that you were wrapping up or getting online for us this afternoon. So obviously we appreciate you being on this call. The third part to this series is actually going to be next week. So really excited to hear Casey's alternatives to fundraising with his experience with his fund and using credit, things like that. There's going to be a lot of creative opportunities there as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this session of Problems of Profits, and we're excited to see you guys next week.
Thanks, Clint.
Thank you.